will be beginning the sessions. Thank you so much. Good morning, esteemed dignitaries, respected speakers, and all participants. On behalf of Gujarat Rajya Institution for Transformation, GRIT, Forest Department, and Tourism Corporation of Gujarat Limited, Government of Gujarat, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to today's seminar on ecotourism as a new avenue for sustainable growth. ગુજરાત રાજ્ય પરિવર્તન સંસ્થા ગ્રેટ વન વિભાગ અને ગુજરાત રાજ્ય સરકારના પ્રવાસન નિગમ લિમિટેડ વતી હું આપ સૌને આજના સેમિનાર ઇકોટુરિઝમ એઝ એ ન્યૂ એવેન્યુ ફોર સસ્ટેનેબલ ગ્રોથમાં સ્વાગત કરું છું. We are delighted to have such a distinguished gathering to deliberate on how ecotourism can serve as a catalyst for sustainable development, livelihood generation, and environmental conservation. Without further ado, may I invite Ms. Adra Agrawal, Secretary Planning, to deliver the welcome address. It is my privilege to introduce ma'am, a distinguished civil servant of 2007 batch with extensive experience across key leadership roles, including Director, Census Operations, CEO of GSDMA and Relief Commissioner, Collector of Navsari, Managing Director of DGVCL, and Managing Director of Gujarat State Handloom and Handicraft Development Corporation Limited. Her leadership has also been recognized with the Best District Collector Award 1920. Please, ma'am.
Respected CEO GRIT, Aparna Madam, MD GUBNL and Coordinator for Surat Economic Master Plan, Shalini Agrawal Madam, Shri Anshuman, CCF Forest Department, all the distinguished dignitaries present here, industry leaders, sector experts, members of academia, colleagues, dear friends. A very good morning to all of you. It's indeed a privilege for me to welcome you all here today for this seminar on ecotourism as a new avenue for sustainable growth, which has been jointly organized by GRIT and TCGL and Forest and Environment Department, hosted here at Oro University. This seminar reminds me of a very prominent Sanskrit verse, Prakriti Sarvasya Mata, meaning nature is the mother of all. It is with this spirit that we gather today to ensure that Gujarat, as Gujarat grows in harmony with the very nature that sustains all of us. So as we march purposefully towards the vision of Viksit Gujarat 2047, the state has adopted a region-centric approach to economic planning, ensuring growth is inclusive, sustainable, and rooted in the distinctive strength of each region. When we talk about Surat region, the Surat Economic Region Master Plan positions Surat as a globally competitive city region, while this region already contributes 25%, almost 25% of Gujarat's GDP. The master plan is very clear that regional and sectoral imbalances must be addressed and new growth avenues should be unlocked to build a more resilient economy. It is in this context that tourism, particularly eco, rural, and experiential tourism, has been identified as a critical pillar. It holds immense potential to diversify the economic base, generate sustainable livelihoods in rural and tribal communities beyond the manufacturing sector, and harness the region's extraordinary natural endowments, its coastline, forests, rivers, wetlands, and living cultural heritage. Under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, our Honorable Deputy Chief Minister, Gujarat continues to set benchmarks for innovative governance. Our Minister, sir, is about to join in some time. I will also particularly like to acknowledge the leadership of our Forest and Environment Minister, Shri Arjun Modwadia, sir, and Dr. Jairam Gamit sir, whose commitment to ecological preservation, community participation and responsible development has provided clear direction for expanding ecotourism across the state. Today's seminar provides a very unique and timely platform to deliberate on the ecotourism strategies outlined in this economic master plan for the Surat economic region, to draw on the rich experiences of the policymakers, industry leaders, experts who have all assembled today, and collectively identify pathways for the effective implementation. I am confident that today's discussions will also open meaningful avenues for investment and public-private partnership in this region. Once again, a warm welcome to all of you, to the distinguished speakers, participants, dignitaries. May today's deliberations be outcome-oriented, paving the way for a prosperous, equitable, and future-ready Gujarat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the warm welcome. We now proceed with the felicitation of our esteemed dignitaries. May I request Shri A.V. Chapaneri, Deputy Executive Officer Grid, to felicitate Ms. Shalini Agrawal, ma'am, MD GUVNL, and EMP Coordinator for South Surat Economic Region. Please give them a huge round of applause. Thank you. May I request Shri Tushar Bhabur, Section Officer Grid, to felicitate Dr. Anshuman Sharma, IFS, Chief Conservator of Forests. Please welcome sir with a huge round of applause. Thank you. It is a privilege to invite our special guest, Dr. Anshuman Sharma, IFS, to share his perspectives on ecotourism. Sir is an Indian Forest Service officer from the 2008 batch, currently serving as Chief Conservator of Forest Development and Management, Gandhinagar. With a PhD in molecular biology and technology, he brings strong scientific expertise to forest governance and conservation. He has extensive experience in managing ecotourism and nature education initiatives across key sites such as Gir, Jasso, Jambugoda, Ratan Mahal, and Shulpaneshwar, and has also played a key role in establishing the Amrari Safari Park in Amreli. Please, sir.
आप सभी को मेरा नमस्कार. Respected Aparna ma'am, Shalini ma'am, Adra ma'am, and I'm thankful to my PS Vinod Rao sir for giving me this opportunity to being here and speak something on ecotourism. See, if you see the definition of ecotourism, it is a visit, responsible tourism, a responsible visit to natural areas, जिसके साथ biodiversity conservation हो और local लोग को भी फायदा मिले. It is never about forest area. It is all about natural areas. Sometimes we recognize ecotourism as tourism in forest area. नहीं, natural areas में हो, responsible हो, local आदमी को फायदा हो और साथ साथ biodiversity भी conserve हो. This is ecotourism. So it is nothing but balancing, and balancing is a very difficult thing in life between economic development and nature conservation. और जब तक ये बैलेंस रहेगा तभी सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ होगा. किसका? नेचर का भी और जो पब्लिक वहाँ रहती है उसका भी. बिकॉज समबडी में से कि सर हमको जाके तो बड़ा दिल को सुकून मिलता है और रूह को शांति मिलती है, तो जो लोग वहाँ रह रहे हैं उनको खुश क्यों नहीं है? द पीपल हु आर देयर इन द एरियाज, बिकॉज पेट की शांति भी एक चीज़ है. देन अगर आप इन तीन चीज़ों का ख्याल रखते हैं इकोटूरिज्म बहुत अच्छी तरह चलेगा. सेकेंड थिंग, जो की फीचर था रिस्पॉन्सिबल टूरिज्म था. अगर आप somebody who's there in the field of ecotourism will see कि केप टाउन डिक्लेरेशन था, and Cape Town Declaration brought the word responsible tourism, and we have a very successful model of responsible tourism in Kerala. एक पूरा विंग है मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ टूरिज्म का केरला में, जिससे कॉल्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबल टूरिज्म. वो कहते हैं कि अगर वो जगह आपके रहने लायक है तो वहाँ टूरिस्ट भी आकर रहेगा. तो यही अंतर आ जाता है कि अगर मुझे उस जगह को ऐसा मेंटेन करना है कि वहाँ के लोग रह रहे हैं तो टूरिस्ट भी आकर रहेगा. दूसरी चीज़ जो इकोटूरिज्म की बहुत अलग है वो है कि अभी जो आ रहा है पोस्ट कोविड इज अर्लियर यूज्ड टू गो एंड स्टे इन प्लेस, द मोस्ट रेवेन्यू वाज देयर फ्रॉम योर रूम रेंट. नाउ if you see places like the southern states, Karnataka and Kerala, and go to any place, northeast, is all experience based. The moment all those reels of clear water in Meghalaya and Sikkim, that rivers went viral and Instagram or whatever social media, लोग जाने लगे. लेकिन हमें ध्यान ये रखना था कि वो जगह वैसे ही रहे. एंड इट रिक्वायर्स कॉस्ट. आपको ऐसी जगह पे जाके कुछ करना है तो कॉस्ट लगेगा. सो द न्यू फंडा इज हाई वैल्यू, लो इम्पैक्ट, एक्सपीरियंस बेस्ड. वैल्यू हाई रहे, इम्पैक्ट लो रहे और एक्सपीरियंस लो को मिले. तो नेचर बेस्ड टूरिज्म को, एक्सपीरियंस बेस्ड टूरिज्म को हम इको टूरिज्म कह सकते हैं. अब बात आएगी कि भाई एक्सपीरियंस बेस्ड टूरिज्म करना है तो कैसे करेंगे आप. तो बड़े स्ट्रिंजेंट से नियम कानून बनने चाहिए. बिकॉज द मोमेंट क्रीप्स इन, सारे नियम कानून साइड हो जाते हैं. बिकॉज somebody हैज टू पे प्राइस फॉर बीइंग देयर. आप कह सकते हैं कि जो लोग वहाँ रह रहे हैं उनको वाई ही हैज टू पे प्राइस फॉर मेंटेनिंग दैट नेचर. तो जब तक वहाँ के लोगों को फायदा नहीं मिलेगा वहाँ रहने का मॉनेटरी रूप में, वही बात फिर से आती है सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ का. सस्टेनेबल डिफिनेशन क्या है कि आज जो आप एंजॉय कर रहे हैं आपकी आने वाली जनरेशन उसी हिसाब से एंजॉय कर सके. तो वो जगह, जितनी जगह मेंटेन की गई हैं, चाहे वहाँ के लोगों ने मेंटेन की है, डिपार्टमेंट मेंटेन की है, उनको ऐसे मेंटेन करना है हमको. पर उससे कॉस्ट लगेगा, वो कॉस्ट पे करेगा. वो कॉस्ट जो वहाँ जो लोग घूमने जा रहे हैं वो पे करेंगे. सो एक और फंडा जो बहुत कॉमन मैनेजमेंट में यूज करते हैं कि वी हैव टू कंजर्व दिस प्रोटेक्टेड स्पेसेस एज प्रोडक्टिव कंजर्वेशन एसेट्स. आपको इस चीज़ है, आपने अलमारी में बंद कर रखी है, शायद लोग देख नहीं पा रहे हैं, अलमारी बंद है, शायद थोड़ा बहुत डिप्रेशन भी हो रहा है उसका. बट एट द एंड ऑफ दिस उसी चीज़ को आप प्रोटेक्टिव एसेट के स्तर में इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, तो जिसके पास वो अलमारी थी उसको भी फायदा मिल रहा है और दुनिया को फायदा मिल रहा है. तो ये 3-4 फंडे मेरे क्लियर थे कि जहाँ भी हम ऐसा काम करना चाहते हैं कि अनटिल अनलेस द लोकल पीपल, जो लोग रह रहा है उसको फायदा नहीं मिले, तब तक इको टूरिज्म बहुत लॉन्ग रन में सस्टेन नहीं करेगा. इट इज जस्ट लाइक कि द hen और हु लेज गोल्डन एग, आप लालच में उसको ही मार दे, बिकॉज आपको एक साथ वो सब चाहिए. अगर हम इसको इकोटूरिज्म के गोल्स को, चूंकि हम द वर्ड वाज न्यूअर एवेन्यूज इन सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ को हम सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट ग्रोथ से ऐड करें, तो यू विल सी कि सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ डेवलपमेंट ग्रोथ के जितने भी पैरामीटर्स थे उसको ये बहुत हद तक ये कन्फर करता है, बहुत हद तक उसको उनमें सामंजस्य है सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ के. चाहे वो जेंडर इक्वालिटी हो, पॉवर्टी रिडक्शन हो, लाइफ बिलो लैंड, ये वो. फिर कहोगे भाई आप तो गुजरात के पास क्या है. somebody will ask me गुजरात के पास ऐसा क्या है कि हम इको टूरिज्म यहाँ डेवलप करें. तो द वर्ड इन हिंदी को सर्वगुण संपन्न. तो गुजरात हमारा सर्वगुण संपन्न है. यू टिक ऑल योर बॉक्सेस. समबडी विल, कोस्ट है, हाँ भाई है, इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा 2300 किलोमीटर का. वाइल्ड लाइफ है, बिल्कुल है. वी हैव गिर, वी हैव जसोर, यू हैव बालाराम अंबाजी, यू हैव पूर्णा, शूलपानेश्वर, नेम इट. 28 प्रोटेक्टेड स्पेसेस. पूरी कंट्री में कहीं भी 28 प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज नहीं है गुजरात को छोड़ के. कोई कहे कि रण बिल्कुल है, वी हैव बिग रन. वी डोंट हैव स्टैंड न्यूज. अब हम बड़े पहाड़ नहीं ला सकते हैं, बट वी हैव हिलॉक्स इन सेंट्रल गुजरात एंड साउथ गुजरात. जिस जिस आप कभी बरसात के बाद स्टार्ट कीजिए अरवली से लेके नीचे अंबाजी तक, यू विल सी ब्यूटीफुल हिलॉक्स, रोलिंग हिल्स. कोई कहे कि भाई आपके पास बायोडाइवर्सिटी क्या है. गुजरात फॉल्स इन द सेंट्रल, जिनको बर्डिंग का आइडिया हो, दिस टर्म कॉल्ड सेंट्रल एशियन फ्लाईवे. गुजरात फॉल्स ऑन द सेंट्रल एशियन फ्लाईवे. आउट ऑफ द 600 माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स, 440 माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स गुजरात में आती हैं. वी हैव नल सरोवर, यू हैव थोल, यू हैव भुडवाना, यू नेम इट. छारी डंड नहीं आगे है. फ्लेमिंगोज. पूरी दुनिया में अफ्रीका के बाहर आपको लायन देखने हैं तो कहाँ जाएंगे, गुजरात आएंगे. पूरी दुनिया में अगर आपको फ्लेमिंगोस की नेस्टिंग देखनी है, वे हैव पिलकेट लैग इन चिल्का इन उड़ीसा एंड साउथ, बट मिलियंस ऑफ फ्लेमिंगोस नेस्टिंग. पर यही है कि फिर उसको किस तरह ओपन करें, तो वही हाई वैल्यू, लो इम्पैक्ट, एक्सपीरियंस बेस्ड आएगा. वाइल्ड एसेस कहाँ पे हैं, यहीं पे हैं. सो यू हैव कोस्ट लैंड, यू हैव रन, यू हैव फॉरेस्ट एरिया, और सबसे अच्छा यहाँ के लोग. भाई काठियावाड़ में कहावत है या एक छंद दोहा है कि भाई कोक दिवस तू भगवान तू भूलो पर काठियावाड़ में था मारो मेहमान हो तेने स्वर्ग बधाऊं. तो केरला में हैव गॉड्स ओन कंट्री, बट गॉड्स केम स्टेड हियर. भगवान कृष्ण मथुरा से हमारे पास आके आए. सो यू हैव नथिंग. कुछ ऐसा है ही नहीं जो हमारे पास नहीं है. लोग इतने अच्छे, हॉस्पिटल भी थे, आप जाइए. सो आई बिलीव 4 चीज को ध्यान रखेंगे हम इको टूरिज्म में कि रिस्पॉन्सिबली रहे. हम आप जा रहे हैं. अब बात आएंगे, सर आप बिजनेस की बात कर रहे हैं, वाइब्रेंट में है, तो पीपीपी की बात क्यों नहीं कर रहे. यस, बहुत जरूरी है. गवर्नमेंट में एक्ट एज द रेगुलेटर, गवर्नमेंट रेगुलेटर में एक्ट कर रहा है, बट अल्टीमेटली यू हैव टू पुल इन पीपल जिनको एक्सपीरियंस है, Because forest, for example, I can talk about forest department. Forest department इतनी sites हैं, they all good, beautiful place, sites. But जो हमारा beat guard है, he's not professionally competent because उसका काम protection है. So we have a policy जहाँ पे ऐसे लोग आए जिनको मैनेज करने का, हॉस्पिटैलिटी का आइडिया हो, जो हॉस्पिटैलिटी चेन्स मैनेज करते हो, फूड मैनेज करते हो, तो इट विल विन विन बोथ. And आई एम हैप्पी टू अनाउंस बिकॉज हमारे चिंतन शिविर था फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट का, एंड इन दिस वी हैड दिस आइडिया कि धीरे धीरे विल हैव ए चेंज इन आवर पॉलिसी, ए चेंज इन पॉलिसी विच जो सबकी मदद करे, कंजर्वेशन को भी मदद करे, प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट भी थोड़ा सा लाए between the ambit of current regulations. So this is what we have decided, and मेरे हिसाब से this is how ecotourism should go and act as a growth engine for sustainable growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those valuable insights. Moving on, to set the broader context for today's discussion, may I invite Ms. S. Aparna, CEO Grid, to address the gathering. A senior officer of 1988 batch with over 3 decades of experience, she has held key leadership roles across the Government of India and Government of Gujarat, with expertise in public finance, development policy, and governance. She has previously served as a Secretary of Government of India and has presented India as an Executive Director at the World Bank Group. We welcome you, ma'am.
So, namaste. Good morning to all of you here in Surat, South Gujarat. We are expecting the minister, I believe, any minute. Is he coming in here, Deva? So, I will break the presentation or remarks when he is here so that we can felicitate him. As you know, there are many parallel sessions during Vibrant Gujarat, so our ministers try to attend as many of them as possible. What I actually have planned to do is give a small presentation on the background and how we have located ecotourism within the broader framework of the economic master plan for this region. So it may not be as passionate as Anshuman has just presented to you, but it will give you a background of where it is that we want to locate this activity of ecotourism. I will also try to highlight some of the opportunities that are available here. But before I begin, we will now welcome our Honorable Minister for Forest and Environment, Shri Arjun Modwadiya ji, and then we will go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. May I request Ms. S. Aparna, CEO Grid, to formally welcome sir with a memento. Please welcome sir with a huge round of applause. Requesting Adra ma'am to welcome sir with a bouquet. Thank you so much, sir.
So, with the august presence of the minister here, we will now continue with the session. As I said, I'll make a very brief presentation. Just to give you the background, we have here, sir, in addition to those on the stage, Forest Department na senior adhikariyo છે, sir, tourism na adhikariyo છે, આપણે ઇકો ડેવલપમેન્ટ કમિટીઝ જે છે આપણા ગ્રામ્ય વિસ્તારના એમના મેમ્બર્સ પણ અહીં આજે ઉપસ્થિત છે સર. We also have experts from across India, sir. કેરળા, ઉત્તરાખંડ, કર્ણાટકા, નોર્થ ઇન્ડિયા, गोवा બધે महाराष्ट्रથી આપણી પાસે एक्सपर्ट्स जे वर्षों से मतलब ये लोग सालों से इको टूरिज्म कर रहे हैं सर. कोई किसी से बात करो तो कहता है 15 साल से कर रहा हूँ, कोई कह रहे हैं कि 20-25 साल से कर रहे हैं. So we have the wealth of experience here in the room, sir. We also have people who are knowledge resources who are present here. એ લોકોને આપણે પેનલ ડિસ્કશનમાં સાંભળવાના છે સર. So I would like to first of all thank our partners, both the Tourism Corporation as well as Forest Department, who have brought these people together on this stage, sir. We just heard Anshuman. He spoke about ecotourism in Gujarat, and I will make a short presentation on the South Surat economic region. This works on arrow, Divya? Okay. So actually in Gujarat, we have something called Viksit Gujarat Vision. All of you would be aware of Viksit Bharat at 2047, which is the vision of the government of India, that India should be an advanced economy or an advanced developed nation by 2047, which is now 21 years down the road. Similarly, we have a vision for Gujarat, and that vision you would like to see embeds sustainability in the twin goals of earning well and living well. So it is not only an economic vision, but every individual in Gujarat should be able to have a good quality of life along with earning a good income. That is the whole philosophy behind our vision for 2047. So not only advancing the economy, but also ensuring universal access to essentials and best in class amenities. Of course, this is on the basis of accelerated economic growth. We have at the moment we contribute about 8.1 or 8.2% to the national economy, though our population is about 5%. And the ambition is to grow to the size of about 3.5 to 4 trillions by 2047. The reason why we have gone for regional planning, आपने आज हम जो यहाँ पे Vibrant Gujarat Summit कर रहे हैं, that is for the South region, South of Gujarat, South Gujarat region हमने ये regional approach लिया है. That is because one, we feel that we need to broad base our economic activities. Many of you would be aware that Gujarat is a manufacturing hub. Manufacturing contributes almost 38% to our national our state GSDP. At the national level, this is something like 17 to 18%. So we are a hardcore manufacturing economy, and unfortunately, a lot of our manufacturing is in sectors which are not very compatible to the environment, like chemicals, petrochemicals, textiles, which create a lot of environmental load. Second, we don't have a strong services sector. So we feel that instead of going down the IT path, as some of parts of India have done, we would like to select those services which are more closely aligned with sustainability. And third, there is a need, I think all of us do recognize, that we need to build resilience and self-reliance not only at the national or state level, but at community level also, which was one of the elements in the talk of Anshuman, ki local communities should benefit from economic growth. And so therefore we are moving down a path of diversification and value addition, plugging into global supply chains, whether it is for manufacturing or services. So tourism should not necessarily just be domestic, but includes a global outlook, and integrating spatial and economic planning. એટલે economic activities along with ensuring that the spatial or the geographical elements are also aligned with our economic growth. And therefore, the goal of this regional economic planning is that everybody should have the opportunities to make investments and get employment, and everyone should be able to enjoy a high quality of life. In Gujarat, we have delineated 6 economic regions. The South Gujarat region is at the bottom. You can see it is outlined in a dark black, and it has 6 districts. We have 34 districts. Then we have the Central Gujarat economic region around Baroda. We have the North Gujarat economic region shown here in green around Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar towards Rajasthan. We have the Kutch economic region, that is a single district in olive color. And that has, he was talking about the run, about the flamingos, etc. That has a very eco-sensitive kind of a geography there. But it's also strategically very important because of the coastline and the proximity to our neighboring nations. In pink, we are showing you the Saurashtra economic region. We have included 5 districts in it. This is also the home of the Little Run. Am I correct? Little Run and the Wildlife Sanctuary, as well as the coral reefs here we have in Jamnagar. And then we have the coastal Saurashtra region, which is in fact at the moment the hub for tourism in Gujarat, because that is where we have the Gir forest, we have Somnath, which is one of the Jyotirlings, and we have Dwaraka, which is one of the Krishna sthal. So this is essentially where we have most of the tourism in Gujarat at the moment. These 6 regions, we have prepared master plans for each of the regions. When we started preparing the master plan for South Gujarat region, the master plan was prepared by Niti Aayog. They took about 9 years. Shalini here was at that time the nodal. She was the municipal commissioner here, and they took 9 years. They did a lot of research. They brought in experts like, I don't know, BCG, McKinsey. McKinsey was here, and they did a lot of WRI. They did a lot of stakeholder consultation. Then Chota Bai Grit came in, and we did the master plan for the other 5 regions. And when we did stakeholder consultations, sir, in every district, sir, 2 economic activities were highlighted. One is food processing or agro processing. Second was tourism, sir. Every single district said tourism is there is a potential for economic activities which is broad based through tourism. So if you look at the South Gujarat region, as has already been mentioned by Ardra madam, this is actually contributing almost 25% to the state's growth. You know Surat, you're all here today. Surat is the hub of gems and jewelry business. It is the hub of textile business. It's very strong in real estate. Probably stuff here is, housing here is costlier than in many parts of the country. And it has a large population of migrant workers. But most of the economic activity in the South Gujarat region is towards the coast. The eastern region, the eastern parts of the region, if you can see, are all under either forest area or they are all tribal areas. They don't have the benefit of manufacturing activity in these regions. So manufacturing activity, which I mentioned, was the main thrust of Gujarat's economic growth, is in the coastal area, that is Surat, Navsari, Bharuch, Ankleshwar, Vapi, etc. Whereas the eastern part, which is where we are targeting for ecotourism, is essentially out of the manufacturing economy. We would like to provide economic activity in this region for the benefit of the population there. So the growth drivers that were identified by Niti Aayog through this 9-month exercise included chemicals and pharma, because we have Dahej in this region, we have Surat, we have Ankleshwar and Vapi, apparel and jewelry, apparel as a value addition to the textile industry, tourism, real estate, and agriculture. So if you see the third arrow, that is where tourism and agriculture, we want to bring it together and develop ecotourism as a new avenue of growth. And of course, the basis for all of this will be, of course, skilling, education, healthcare, better quality, and sustainability and livability. In the South Gujarat region, there are, as mentioned again by Anshumanji, every possible tourist resources available here. We have the coast, we have Dandi, where Gandhiji started the salt satyagraha. We have Parsi land here, Udwada, where the Parsis landed, sir. Yahi aaye the Udwada mein. Even today, their fire is burning for the last so many centuries. We have wildlife, we have forest area, we have a dam, huge dam for water based tourism, etc. We have all of this. So our initiatives in tourism are going to be across various kinds of tourism. So not just ecotourism, but cruise tourism, adventure tourism, wildlife, trekking, and all of that is what we are looking forward to. And we see this as a playoff between the business hub, that is Surat, where we are, and the ecotourism hub that is in these 3 districts, Tapi, Dangs, and Navsari. So if you are looking at people to come here only for the ecotourism, in the initial years, maybe that will not happen. So we also would like to use the economic activity as a kind of a lever or as a platform to develop ecotourism in the adjoining areas. Dang is one of our very unique districts. It is 100% tribal district, and I think 100% forest almost. Almost 100% forested district, so which is probably something very rare even in the Himalayan states to find a district that is 100% under the protected forest area. And there we have not only in Dangs but in this entire region. So in this entire area we have wildlife. We are planning for adventure tourism, which is where Majumdar ji's comments will come in very useful. Rural tourism, jo Saib aaye hain from both Maharashtra as well as Goa, you can help us in that. So we have tribal lifestyle, we have rural lifestyle, untouched, unspoilt villages. We have hill stations where we can think about, you know, stuff like paragliding, trekking, etc. And of course the Ukai Reservoir. So these are the ones that were identified, but I'm sure there are many more which can be leveraged for providing this experiential tourism. Though we have the destinations, we have the resources we claim, and we have the intent and the passion that you have seen, I think there is a lot of work we have to do कि आज ये resources जो हैं उनको अपन develop करके उनका पूरा लाभ यहाँ के local communities को मिले, वो ओवरनाइट नहीं हो सकता. उसके लिए काफ़ी हमको मेहनत और काम करना पड़ेगा, जिसमें आज जो यहाँ पे हमारे जो गेस्ट्स आए हैं, पैनलिस्ट आए हैं, उनके इनपुट्स लेके हम डेवलप करना चाहते हैं अपना इको टूरिज्म स्ट्रेटजी. दूसरा सर जो हमारे फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट ने हमको बताया, हमारे पास ऑलरेडी देर इज ए इको डेवलपमेंट फ्रेमवर्क फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट का. उसमें इको डेवलपमेंट कमिटीज बनी हुई हैं और राज्य में कितने 14 और हाँ 48 साइट्स ऑलरेडी बनी हुई हैं. वहाँ पे लोकल कम्युनिटी विलेजर्स, उनमें से कुछ आज यहाँ उपस्थित भी हैं, वो लोग वहाँ पे कार्यरत भी हैं, बट दे डोंट हैव द स्किल्स, they don't have the managerial acumen to run these sites and actually benefit from them. तो हम ये भी जानना चाहेंगे कि आप लोगों ने उनको कैसे केरला में या महाराष्ट्र में कैसे ऑर्गेनाइज किया. वी वुड ऑल्सो लाइक टू बेनिफिट फ्रॉम दैट. सो फर्स्ट इज वी वांट टू बिकम लाइक अ मॉडल फॉर रिस्पॉन्सिबल टूरिज्म. अगर अब कर रहे हैं तो आप लोगों का बाय टेकिंग द बेनिफिट ऑफ योर एक्सपीरियंस वी वांट टू एंश्योर वी स्टार्ट राइट एंड वी गो डाउन द राइट पाथ. दूसरा हम चाहते हैं कि यूथ है, विमेन है, उसमें स्किलिंग के ऊपर फोकस किया जाए. व्हाट इज द वे टू skill these local communities, because I cannot expect no MBAs from Mumbai or Ahmedabad will go and do it. Local communities should be skilled for this. Third, how can we leverage technology? अगर कोई जा रहा है, डांग्स में जा रहे हैं, तापी में जा रहे हैं, इको टूरिज्म साइट पे जा रहे हैं, access and experience using digital और other technology की बात कर रहे हैं. Third, functional zones. यहाँ पे हम कैसे we facilitate different kinds of टूरिस्ट. सर मैं अभी बात कर रही थी आर्द्रा से कि सर अभी ऐसा हुआ है कि पहले गुजरात में ज़्यादा रिलीजियस टूरिज्म होता है. सोमनाथ, अंबाजी, यही मेन टूरिज्म होता है. पर अभी जो यूथ है सर, और यहाँ पे नंदीश भाई भी हैं, ही विल ऑल्सो बेयर मी आउट सर, दे आर लुकिंग फॉर एक्सपीरियंस, दे आर लुकिंग फॉर चैलेंजेस. तो दे डोंट फाइंड लग्जरी इन 7-स्टार होटल. उन्होंने 7-स्टार 5-स्टार सब बहुत देख लिया है सर. अभी ये चाहते हैं कि आई वॉन्ट टू सी समथिंग विच विल गिव मी अ न्यू एक्सपीरियंस. So now the real luxury is being in nature. The real luxury is being one with nature, being in a very quiet, unspoilt, unpolluted area. So different tourism sectors will be. There would be retirees, there would be, you know, people coming from abroad, but there would also be our own youth who can be targeted. And finally, sir, what type of institutional or organizational mechanism we should have in place in order to मेक ऑल दिस हैपन. ये सब करने के लिए हमारे पास क्या पॉलिसीज, क्या मैकेनिज्म होना चाहिए. सर मैं आपको बताते हुए मेरे को मतलब गर्व है कि हमने ऑलरेडी सर सस्टेनेबल इको टूरिज्म का एक छोटा सा टास्क फोर्स बना लिया फॉरेस्ट और टूरिज्म के साथ, और उसमें वी हैव स्टार्टेड नाउ राइटिंग अ पॉलिसी. पर आज जो हम आपका मार्गदर्शन मिलेगा, यहाँ जो उपस्थित पैनलिस्ट हैं उनके इनपुट्स मिलेंगे, उससे हम ज़्यादा अच्छा बना पाएंगे. So this ecotourism and tourism is not only that is limited to South Gujarat. आप लोगों का जो आज inputs मिलेगा, that would be applicable in other regions of Gujarat also. मैंने जैसे बात किया, हर एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, इन एवरी सिंगल डिस्ट्रिक्ट, they have said, the local stakeholders have said that there is a potential for tourism. तो हमने जो टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशंस बनाई हैं उसमें आप देख सकते हैं कि लगभग हर एक रीजन में वी हैव आइडेंटिफाइड समथिंग फॉर एग्रो टूरिज्म, रूरल टूरिज्म, एडवेंचर टूरिज्म और इको टूरिज्म. इट इज अवेलेबल इन एवरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट. So this is what I would like to share with you. This was to give you a background कि हम क्यों करना चाहते हैं ecotourism, not simply because it is glamorous or a new buzzword, but it is part of a larger economic and social development that we are looking at. We are trying कि it should, our development in Gujarat should become balanced. हर एक जिले में, हर एक गांव में उस जिले, उस गांव के अनुरूप विकास हो पाए. It should be appropriate to that particular area. ये हमारा ध्येय या ये हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव है. और उसमें इको टूरिज्म कैसे रोल प्ले कर सकता है, उसके लिए हमको क्या करना चाहिए, लोकल कम्युनिटीज़ की जो भावनाएं हैं, उनकी जो लाइफस्टाइल है, उनका जो एस्पिरेशंस हैं, उसको ध्यान में रख के एट द सेम टाइम एक स्ट्रॉन्ग इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी और ग्रोथ ड्राइवर भी बने और एक मॉडल बन पाए. दैट इज गोइंग टू बी व्हाट वी विल डिस्कस टुडे. वी विल हियर ऑफ कोर्स ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर, आपके मार्गदर्शन का भी लाभ हमको मिलेगा. फिर पैनल डिस्कशन में जो हमको बातें सुनने को मिलेंगी, उनसे वी विल ट्राई टू डू what we feel would be the best way or the optimal way forward. So this is a background that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for outlining the strategic perspective. Moving on, it is an honor to invite our chief guest, who is an accomplished public representative, academician, and administrator who has consistently championed the cause of education, environmental governance, and public service in Gujarat. આજે વન અને પર્યાવરણ, આબોહવા પરિવર્તન અને વિજ્ઞાન અને ટેકનોલોજી મંત્રી તરીકે તેઓ એવી મુખ્ય પહેલાઓ વેગ આપી રહ્યા છે જે પર્યાવરણીય સંરક્ષણ વધારે છે, વૈજ્ઞાનિક નવીનતાને પ્રોત્સાહન આપે છે અને રાષ્ટ્રીય પ્રાથમિકતાઓને અનુરૂપ ગુજરાતને ટકાઉ અને ભવિષ્ય માટે સજજ વિકાસ તરફ દોરી રહ્યા છે. ફોર ધ પ્રેસિડેન્શિયલ એડ્રેસ માટે હું માનનીય કેબિનેટ મંત્રી શ્રી અર્જુનભાઈ મોઢવાડિયા સરને સંબોધન કરવા માટે આમંત્રિત કરું છું. પ્લીઝ વેલકમ સર વિથ અ હ્યુજ રાઉન્ડ ઓફ અપ્લોઝ.
आज के इको टूरिज्म पर सेमिनार में उपस्थित मिस एस अर्पणा, dignitaries on dais, and dear friends. इको टूरिज्म बज़वर्ड तो हम बहुत सालों से सुन रहे हैं, लेकिन आज तक का जो टूरिज्म था ज़्यादातर वो टूरिज्म रिलीजियस टूरिज्म ज़्यादा रहा है. और आज के दिन में भी जो गुजरात में कंट्रीब्यूशन माना जाए तो सबसे ज़्यादा टूरिज्म रिलीजियस टूरिज्म है. लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री जी आज के जब गुजरात के मुख्यमंत्री थे तो गुजरात को एक टूरिस्ट प्लेस के रूप में जो शोकेस किया गया, और कुछ दिन तो गुजारिए गुजरात में, ये जो एक टैगलाइन हर सिटीजन के जो एक कैची वर्ड्स बन गया सबके लिए. उसके बाद टूरिज्म बहुत बड़ा है हमारे यहाँ. उस समय मैं ओपोजिशन में था और रणोत्सव की बात उसी समय शुरू हुई, और ऑनेस्टली मैं बिलीव करता था कि रण में कौन जाएगा जहाँ विंटर में फ्रीजिंग टेम्परेचर हो, और जब ये समर आए तो वहाँ चमड़ी जल जाए, इतनी धूप हो, तो कौन जाएगा वहाँ. लेकिन इतनी सालों के बाद आज धोरडो विलेज है, वो इंटरनेशनल नेम बन गया है. और मुझे मालूम है, मैं एमएलए था तो भी उस समय वहां बुकिंग के लिए मुझे टूरिज्म मिनिस्टर को फोन करना पड़ता, और आज भी वही स्थिति है। ये स्टैच्यू ऑफ यूनिटी है, वहां हम जाते थे पहले डैम देखने के लिए, तो डभोई से लेकर डैम तक एक चाय की किटली नहीं मिलती थी। और आज वही प्लेस कितनी वाइब्रेंट बन गई। अंबाजी का टूरिज्म तो है ही, वो तो ट्रेडिशनल टूरिज्म है। मैं द्वारका की आपके सामने बात बताता हूं। जब मैं पॉलिटिक्स में कम और बिजनेस में ज्यादा था उस समय, पोरबंदर से द्वारका हार्डली 90 किलोमीटर है, 1 घंटे का रास्ता है। मैं वहाँ की जो शारदा पीठ है शंकराचार्य महाराज की, उसके साथ थोड़ा सा जुड़ा हुआ था, तो मैं बार बार जाता था, कभी रात भी रुकता था। मेरे एक फ्रेंड्स थे जो बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में चीफ मैनेजर थे। मैं उनके घर पर गया तो पुराना बहुत घर था, तो मैंने कहा बैंक तो आपको लोन देती है, अच्छा घर क्यों नहीं बनाते? तो क्या यहाँ द्वारका में रहते ही कौन है? सिर्फ 3,000 4,000 पुजारी का फैमिली है और उस पर निर्भर इकोनॉमी है, बाकी कुछ यहाँ कुछ नहीं। लोग आते हैं चले जाते हैं, बच्चे जहां सेटल होंगे वहां हम घर बनाएंगे। मैं 2000 साल की पहले की बात करता हूँ, और 2022 में मैं 3 दिन वहां रुका, एक इवेंट्स थी इसलिए। और ये 20 साल में जो द्वारका बदल गया वहां, कि मैं एक रेस्टोरेंट पे गया तो लोग जो वहां थे, उनके ओनर थे, मुझे पहचानते थे, वो राजकोट चले गए थे और वापस आ गए। बरड़िया गांव है, बरड़िया का सरपंच है, उनकी वो होटल थी, उसके पार्टनर थे सामानी, वो राजकोट से वापस आए थे। तो उन्होंने बताया कि जितने भी लोग चले गए थे वो रिवर्स माइग्रेशन होके वापस आ गए। और ये जो होटल का पार्टनर वर्पाबाई है, वो बरड़िया का सरपंच है। उन्होंने बरड़िया से द्वारका तक का डिस्टेंस 8 किलोमीटर है, वहां 5,000 रुपीज एकड़ जमीन मिलती थी। मैं फिर से बोलता हूं, 5,000 रुपीज एकड़। वहां अभी सेलिंग प्राइस फुट में हो गई, फीट में हो गई। जितनी एकड़ में जमीन ली थी इतनी फीट में वो सेल करते। ये प्रभाव टूरिज्म का है। मैं इसलिए एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूं कि फ्यूचर उसका है। द्वारका में आज 1,10,00,000 टूरिस्ट आते हैं, इतना ही सोमनाथ में। ये सभी रिलीजियस टूरिज्म हो गया। लेकिन इको टूरिज्म जो अर्पणा मैडम ने बताया कि ये नया जमाना का टूरिज्म है। युवा कभी ज्यादा ये जमाना रिलीजियस टूरिज्म का है, वो रहेगा, लेकिन साथ साथ जो इको टूरिज्म या एक्सपीरियंस नहीं होगा तो युवा वहां नहीं जाएंगे। मैं पोरबंदर से आता हूं। पोरबंदर से मेरे यहाँ से अफ्रीका बहुत गए, और अफ्रीका से होकर वाया अफ्रीका होकर बहुत सेटल हुए यूनाइटेड किंगडम में। मेरे अकेले गांव के 400 परिवार वहां लेस्टर में सेटल होते हैं। तो वहां तो जो वेकेशन रहता है, तो वेकेशन में वो टूर में जाते ही जाते हैं, यूरोप जाते हैं और कंट्री में जाते हैं, और वहां उनके लिए वो एफोर्डेबल है। बच्चे शादियां करके हनीमून के लिए इंडिया नहीं आते, वो बाली जाते हैं, मॉरिशस जाते हैं, और जगह जाते हैं। यहाँ क्यों नहीं आते? मैं सोचता हूँ यहाँ आना चाहिए उसको, लेकिन नहीं आते। क्यों? कि उसको जो एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए वो यहाँ नहीं मिलती, जो लाइफस्टाइल है वो यहाँ नहीं मिलती। तो अगले दिनों में हमें कुछ ज्यादा नहीं तो हमारे जो एनआरआई है उसको टैप कर ले, तो जो वैल्यू टूरिज्म चाहते हैं हम, वो वैल्यू टूरिज्म यहाँ आ सकता है। पोटेंशियल सबसे ज्यादा हमारे यहाँ है। राजस्थान के पास न नदी है, न डैम है, न वहाँ कोई रिच फॉरेस्ट है, 1 या 2 के छोड़ के। समुद्र तो है ही नहीं। जो वहाँ नहीं है वो हमारे यहाँ सब यहाँ है। हमारे यहाँ भी हेरिटेज टूरिज्म है, वहाँ हेरिटेज टूरिज्म है। वहाँ जितना रिलीजियस टूरिज्म नहीं है, इतना रिलीजियस टूरिज्म हमारे यहाँ है। और सबसे लंबा सी कोस्ट गुजरात के पास है, और वो भी क्लीन है। सब देश का सबसे ज्यादा वेटलैंड, ऑलमोस्ट अंशुमान 22%। हाँ 5, अभी तो 5 होगी, और छठी आ रही है रामसर साइट मोकर सागर में। वेटलैंड सबसे ज्यादा है यहाँ। माइग्रेटरी बर्ड सबसे ज्यादा यहाँ है। लेकिन माइग्रेटरी बर्ड के बारे में हमें भी ज्यादा पता नहीं है कि वो क्या चीज है। हम तो लायन देखते हैं, टाइगर देखते हैं, फोरकेट के सिवा ज्यादा हम एक्सपीरियंस मानते नहीं है। लेकिन एक बर्ड्स माइग्रेट होकर यहाँ आते हैं 10,000। एक बर्ड्स तो ऐसा है कि 10,000 किलोमीटर नॉन स्टॉप आता है। वो कैसा बर्ड्स होगा, भगवान ने कैसा ये प्लेन बनाया होगा। लेकिन ये जो दुनिया है उससे हम तो दूर है बहुत सारी। ये हमारे पास ऐसी फॉरेस्ट में एक सबसे बड़ी होती है ओनरशिप। बहुत क्वालिटी है। आपकी रेवेन्यू की लैंड सब लोग ले जाएंगे, आपके सामने ले जाएंगे। लेकिन फॉरेस्ट में आप बिना परमिशन जाएंगे, आप कितने भी बड़े आदमी हो, लेकिन एक दफा तो रुकेंगे, वो जाने नहीं देंगे। जमीन को तो छोड़िए, जमीन में तो 1 इंच भी जमीन उनकी नहीं ले सकते। वो ओनरशिप है। साथ साथ वो क्या है कि उनको दी गई लैंड वो किसी को नहीं देते। तो जो उपयोग करना है इको टूरिज्म के लिए, तो आज तक थोड़ा सा एक कंजर्वेटिज्म ज्यादा है कि भाई हम किसी को नहीं देंगे। मैं वहाँ ब्लैक बक सेंचुरी है यहाँ बेड़ावदर, आप जरूर जाइए, तो जाना है तो कभी जाए तो उसका जो कैंपस है फॉरेस्ट का, वो रियली हेवन है। मैं तो गांव में पैदा हुआ हूँ, गांव में मेरा जन्म हुआ, खेत में रहा। हमारे यहाँ कोई गांव में रहते ही नहीं थे, मैं खेत में रहा। तो मेरे लिए फॉरेस्ट को ये ऐसा एक्सपीरियंस नया नहीं है, लेकिन ये मेरे लिए भी एक्सपीरियंस था। तो आपके जो जिन्होंने खेत में जन्म नहीं लिया या रहे नहीं, उनके लिए तो अद्भुत एक्सपीरियंस रहेगा। लेकिन ये कैंपस है, कैंपस में हमने जो स्ट्रक्चर बनाए हुए हैं, मकान बनाए हुए, मकान ऐसे हैं कि EWS के मकान जैसे लगते हैं, आपको रहने की इच्छा नहीं होती। अगर वो किसी एंटरप्रेन्योर के पास आ जाए, तो ये जो जो हमारा सेंचुरी एरिया से बाहर रोड है, रोड के सामने जो वहाँ बहुत सारे रिसोर्ट हैं, रिसोर्ट का रेंट है 10,000 से लेकर 25,000 तक। उससे दुगुना अच्छा लोकेशन हमारे पास है, लेकिन हमने एक्सप्लॉइट नहीं किया। सासण के आसपास चीप टूरिज्म बहुत डेवलप हुआ, उसकी वजह से फॉरेस्ट पर लोड भी ज्यादा है। पहले से प्लानिंग नहीं किया गया, इसकी वजह से चीप टूरिज्म इतना डेवलप हुआ, और उसकी वजह से हमारी जो वहाँ की सेंचुरी की इकोसिस्टम है, वो लोड जितना लेना चाहिए उससे ज्यादा लोड वहां पर गया है। जबकि इको टूरिज्म है, मैं मानता हूं कि वो चीप टूरिज्म नहीं होना चाहिए। वो बाहर डेवलप करो, लेकिन वहां चीप टूरिज्म नहीं होना चाहिए, वो थोड़ा सा कंट्रोल होना चाहिए। हमने ये प्लानिंग नहीं किया। जो प्लानिंग राजस्थान ने किया पहले, वो प्लानिंग नहीं कर पाए। जबकि राजस्थान से सबसे अच्छा लोकेशन हमारे पास है। बीच की बात करें, हम अभी बरडा सेंचुरी में हमारी जो नई है पोरबंदर के पास, वहां भी लायन आ गए। अभी हमने पहले से तय कर लिया है कि हम ये चीप टूरिज्म आसपास नहीं होने देंगे, बड़ा टूरिज्म करेंगे वहां। तो ये जो कोस्टल एरिया है, कोस्टल एरिया में इतना बड़ा पोटेंशियल पड़ा हुआ है कि आप सोच नहीं सकते। अभी 2023 में हमने एक बीच बनाने का तय किया पोरबंदर में। पोरबंदर से द्वारका के रूट पे जाते हैं तो 30 किलोमीटर आगे वो हमारा बुड़द्वार का विसाबड़ा गांव आता है, वहां से लेकर हर्षद माता जी टेम्पल तक 12 किलोमीटर लंबा, देश का नहीं दुनिया का सबसे लंबा बीच हम डेवलप कर रहे हैं। और ये बीच ऐसा होगा, और फॉर्चुनेटली वहां सबसे ज्यादा बैरन लैंड वहां पड़ी हुई है। बैरन लैंड मीन्स या सरकारी लैंड है या फॉरेस्ट की लैंड है। शायद 4000 हेक्टर के आसपास लैंड हमारे पास है, रेवेन्यू और फॉरेस्ट दोनों मिला के। दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा कोस्टल टूरिज्म वहां डेवलप हो सकता है। आपने यहाँ अभी बता रही थी आप कि माधोपुर को हम डेस्टिनेशन वेडिंग के लिए, प्रधानमंत्री को जी को मैं मिलने के लिए गया था, तब उन्होंने बताया था कि अर्जुन भाई हमें वहाँ डेस्टिनेशन मैरिज हमें करना है, डेवलप करना है। ठीक है, माधोपुर और ये जो मैं ये बीच बता रहा हूँ, उनके बीच में ज़्यादा डिस्टेंस नहीं है, 30-40 किलोमीटर के करीब होगा। सबसे अच्छा जो डेस्टिनेशन मैरिज के लिए दुनिया का, देश का नहीं, वो वही बन सकता है। और उसके लिए टूरिज्म डिपार्टमेंट ने एक बड़ी फ्रांस की कंपनी हायर की है, जो दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा जो ऐसा रिसोर्ट वगैरह बनाते हैं उनके लिए, उसकी रिपोर्ट आनी ही होगी कुछ दिनों में। तो मैं ये बता रहा था कि ये जो हमारे पास साइट्स है, इतने डैम्स है, और डैम के बीच में कई कई जगह आइलैंड भी है, बीच में आइलैंड है, और भी हमारे पास इतने आइलैंड भी पड़े हुए हैं, जो सौराष्ट्र रीजन के कुछ एरिया ऐसे कि वहाँ ये पड़े। मरीन जो मरीन हमारा जो सेंचुरी है, वो भी एक अलग अनुभव है, जो किसी ने देखा भी नहीं, सुना भी नहीं होगा, ऐसा ऐसा वहाँ एक्सपीरियंस हो सकता है। लेकिन ये इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच उसके लिए हमें करना पड़ेगा। विदाउट इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच ये नहीं हो पाता। हमने उसके लिए इको टूरिज्म के लिए टूरिज्म डिपार्टमेंट के साथ मिलकर हमें ये पॉलिसी बनाने का हमने भी तय किया है। लोकेशन हमारे पास है। देखो, सरकार कोई बिजनेस नहीं चला सकती। हम तो हमारे पास जो लोकेशन है वो एंटरप्रेन्योर को दे देंगे पीपीपी मॉडल पर, वो चलाए, रेवेन्यू दे, मेंटेन करे, और जो एसेट है समय आ जाने पर वापस देकर दे, फिर से हम किसी को दे सकते हैं। ये अप्रोच रखकर चलेंगे तो जल्दी से ये जो सर्विस सेक्टर है उसमें हम कंट्रीब्यूट कर पाएंगे। क्रूज टूरिज्म है, इतना लंबा, ये हमारे सी कोस्ट होने के बावजूद भी हमारे यहाँ ये क्रूज टूरिज्म डेवलप ही नहीं हुआ। हमारे पोरबंदर में आते हैं क्रूज लेकर फॉरेन से कोई महात्मा गांधी का जन्मभूमि देखने के लिए, बड़े दुखी होकर आते हैं क्योंकि हमने इकोसिस्टम बनाई ही नहीं, और हमारी जो प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप है या प्लेसेस ऑफ जो ऐसे हेरिटेज स्ट्रक्चर है उसको भी उसी तरीके से मेंटेन किया नहीं, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन भी नहीं किया ऐसी तरह। और ये बहुत सारी साइटें आप हम कलेक्टर से लिस्ट मंगवाएंगे या उसी के, तो आज अनएक्सप्लोर अनआइडेंटिफाई वैसे ही पड़ी हुई बहुत सारी मिलेगी। बरड़ा हमारा सेंचुरी है, उसमें घुमली जो ओल्डेस्ट साइट मानी जाती है कंटेम्पररी समय में, मीन्स लास्ट 1000 या 1500 साल में, जो आज वहाँ हेरिटेज स्ट्रक्चर पड़ा हुआ है, वहाँ वैसे ही है, टेम्पल है और कुछ है वहाँ, उसको डेवलप किया जा सकता है। तो सभी मैं जो स्टेक होल्डर है उसको रिक्वेस्ट जरूर करूँगा कि हमें, गुजरात हमेशा एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप में सबसे आगे रहा है, और यह फर्स्ट जनरेशन जो एंटरप्रेन्योर है वो शायद देश में कहीं नहीं होगी। सूरत किसने बनाया? कोई ट्रेडिशनल इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट ने नहीं बनाया जो 2-3 जनरेशन से उसमें है। वो तो सभी 4th स्टैंडर्ड 5th स्टैंडर्ड पास किसान के बेटे, वहाँ कुछ नहीं था, भुखमरा था, छोड़ के यहाँ आए और मजदूरी करके करके आज बड़े इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट बन गए। पूरा सूरत ऐसा बना हुआ। पूरा राजकोट है, आज डेवलपमेंट हुआ राजकोट का इसी वजह से हुआ है। पूरा मोरबी का डेवलपमेंट हुआ है इसकी वजह से हुआ है। पूरा जामनगर का ब्रासपाट देखिए, वो सब इसकी वजह से हुआ है। तो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप तो हमारे ब्लड में है, चाहे किसान का बेटा हो, चाहे मोची का बेटा हो, चाहे सुथार का, चाहे लोहार का, किसी का भी, उसके ब्लड में है। हमें उसको दिशा देनी है कि आप ये सेक्टर अनएक्सप्लोर्ड है, आइए वहां करिए, और हम उसके लिए पॉलिसी भी बनाए। तो ये सभी हम कर सकते हैं गुजरात में, किसी और की जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ेगी। हम बड़े लोगों को, बड़े ठीक है 5-25 लोग बाहर से आए और बड़ा कुछ काम करे करे वो अलग बात है, लेकिन ये काम गुजरात कर सकता है, गुजरात के एंटरप्रेन्योर ही कर सकते हैं, गुजरात का युवा ही कर सकते हैं। उसके पास विजन भी है, करेज भी है और आइडिया भी है। ये हम जरूर करेंगे। मैं आपको जरूर रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप एक कंसल्टेशन उसी पर फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट और टूरिज्म डिपार्टमेंट, कल्चर डिपार्टमेंट, ये तीनों को मिला के एक कंसेप्ट पेपर तैयार करिए कि जो एक होलिस्टिक टूरिज्म पॉलिसी वो डिवाइस करें। और ऐसी जगह बहुत सारी जगह है हमारे यहाँ। आप कभी माधोपुर जाइए, माधोपुर में एक रोड, माधोपुर से बाहर निकलते हैं पोरबंदर तरफ की ओर, तो एक 1 किलोमीटर लंबा रोड, ये उस समय के आरएनबी ने, रोड्स एंड बिल्डिंग के कोई इंजीनियर होगा विजनरी, उन्होंने रोड कोस्ट के नीचे लाने के बावजूद कोस्ट पर ही ले लिया। तो आपको एक्सपीरियंस होगा, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में एकदम नजदीक, मीन्स 100 मीटर दूरी पर आपको समंदर दिखाई देगा वहां। और ये साइलेंट समंदर नहीं है, थोड़ा रिस्की है वहां अंदर जाना तो, लेकिन इसकी वजह से वहां छोटे छोटे लोग, जो लोग वहां आते हैं, देखकर वहां गाड़ी खड़ी करके देते हैं, गाड़ी खड़ी करके उसी जगह पे वो देखने के लिए जाते हैं। मिनिमम वहां 400-500 लोग वहां कोई ना कोई रोजी कमा रहा है इसी पर। कोई परमानेंट नहीं, कुछ डेवलपमेंट नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं किया, सरकार ने एक पैसा भी नहीं दिया, अनरेगुलेटेड वे में चलता है। हमने अभी थोड़ी तैयारी कर रहे हैं टूरिज्म के साथ मिलकर कि वो रेगुलेटेड वे में हो, और वो जिससे वो क्लीनलीनेस वगैरह मेंटेन रहे। लेकिन ऐसी साइट, वैसे नेचुरल साइट है, ऐसी साइट बहुत सारी है कि जो लेकर हम बहुत सी कोस्ट पर, हमारे वेटलैंड पर, सेंचुरी में, रिजर्व फॉरेस्ट या प्रोटेक्टेड फॉरेस्ट हो वहाँ, ग्रासलैंड एरिया बहुत सारा है हमारे पास, डैम्स बहुत हैं, कैनाल बहुत हैं, यहाँ पॉन्ड बहुत है। इसे उस सबको मिला के एक इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच में जो सर्विस सेक्टर की इकोनॉमी है उसमें हम बहुत ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं। और सबसे ज़्यादा तो पोटेंशियल रोजगारी का है, उसमें रोजगारी हम बढ़ा सकते हैं। ऐसे ये आप सबका मैं यहाँ ये सेमिनार में स्वागत है। मुझे अहमदाबाद निकलना पड़ेगा, नहीं तो मैं आपके साथ जरूर बैठता, लेकिन आपकी आज की चर्चा सरकार को बहुत उपयोगी होगी, ऐसे मैं अपेक्षा करता हूँ। भारत माता की जय।
Thank you so much, sir. આપનો ખૂબ ખૂબ આભાર. We now move into the technical segment of today's seminar, which includes presentations followed by panel discussion. To begin, may I invite Dr. K. Shashikumar, IFS. Sir is leaving. Ladies and gentlemen, as sir said, sir has some engagement, so he might be leaving right now. May I request you all to stand and give sir a huge round of applause, please, for sparing time. Thank you so much, sir. We'll now continue with our technical session. May I now invite Dr. K. Shashikumar, IFS, to deliver his presentation on ecotourism in Gujarat towards high-value, low-impact experience-based ecotourism. May I request Vinod Chaudhary,
काट के नदी की इस तरफ से आके विशालकारी की मेन रोड है वहां से बेचते थे। एक इको टूरिज्म साइट वहां स्टार्ट किया, उसका नाम है विशालकारी। वहां 18 स्थानिक मानसों से करवाया है। आज की तारीख में पूरी कटिंग बंद है और पूरा नेटवर्क कहां से कहां चल रहा है सब कुछ डिपार्टमेंट को पता है। इसमें बिजनेस है, कंजर्वेशन है, इसमें एक चीज मिसिंग है, हम सबको फॉलो करना चाहिए। नेक्स्ट, मुझे ही करना है, ठीक। क्या मिसिंग है? वी हैव असेट, वी हैव अ बायस, बट बात यह है जब तक आप इंटरप्रिटेशन नहीं करेंगे, जब तक उसमें सीक्रेट क्या है नहीं बताएंगे। आपको पता है यहां से 40 मिनट में आपको अंबिका नदी है, अंबा पानी इको टूरिज्म साइट है, और यहां से इस तरफ 30 किलोमीटर जाएंगे ना आपको डॉल्फिन मिलेगी। गुजरात में आपको बोट के बगल में डॉल्फिन घूमती है, व्हेल शार्क आपको नजदीक में मिल सकती है। एक्सपीरियंस कैसे आएगा? इंटरप्रिटेशन, और आपको बताना पड़ेगा। एक्सपीरियंस कैसे आएगा? मेरे बेटी को बताना पड़ेगा भाई शेर ऐसे हैं, इसको मिलना ऐसे है। सो मैं बोल रहा हूं गुजरात की स्कोप इसमें बहुत ज्यादा है, क्योंकि वर्ल्ड की सबसे ज्यादा बर्ड वॉचर गुजरात की, और हिस्टोरिकली नेचर एजुकेशन कैंप और कल्चर में इनकी कंजर्वेशन है। आपको सोचे होंगे लायन फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट की वजह से बचा है, नहीं है। लायन बचा है स्थानिक लोगों से। एक बार मेरे करियर में ऐसे थे 40,000 का बफलो को लायन मार दिया था। मेरे गांव होता फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट मार के भगा देता, बट यहां गुजरात में भजिया और चाय लेके आया। मैं तो शॉक हो गया। वो बोलता है ये भगवान की ले लिया है, बाकी 2 बेस को हम बचा लेंगे। सो यहां कंजर्वेशन की कल्चर में है। अब इसमें क्या है, बात है पैसा की। यार 50 लाख की टूरिस्ट आज आ रहा है, हमको 47 में 1 करोड़ टूरिस्ट आएंगे, हमारा इकोनॉमी को कर सकते हैं। ये है डेटा। और गुजरात क्या किया है, जैसे आप लोग ने बताया ना, यार मुझे शौक इसके लिए लगता है, मिट्टी को बेच देते हैं। क्या है उसका नाम? रणोत्सव। क्या है वहां? सिर्फ मिट्टी है, मिट्टी को बेच देते हैं। और केसुरा को बेच देते हैं। क्या? केसुरा टूर, स्टैच्यू ऑफ यूनिटी में केसुरा की टूर, जो बेचने का, मार्केटिंग का, ब्रांडिंग का बहुत अच्छा आता है। बट हमको अभी क्या है, गाइड को डेवलप करना होगा, एक्सपीरियंस को आइडेंटिफाई करना होगा, प्रोडक्ट को आइडेंटिफाई करना होगा, और प्रोडक्ट की एक्सपीरियंस ट्रांसफॉर्म करना होगा। उसके लिए ऑलरेडी वी स्टार्टेड। कब? 2007 में अराउंड 50 इको टूरिज्म आर साइंटिफाइड, और उस साल इको टूरिज्म ईयर था गुजरात में, और उस टाइम में सब साइट में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलप किए। और 2008 में स्थानिक कम्युनिटी के साथ कैसे फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट जोड़ेगा, उसके लिए इको डेवलपमेंट सोसाइटी की रचना की जीआर हुई। और 12 में सिर्फ डिपार्टमेंट और स्थानिक दोनों नहीं कर सकते हैं, और प्राइवेट भी आना करके 12 तारीख 2012 में बताया। और 2013 में स्पेशली एक टास्क फोर्स बनाया। अभी हम 25 है। मैं पिछले 20 साल की सोच रहा हूं जो डेवलपमेंट हुई है। मैं सर्विस 2005 में ज्वाइन किया, इसके लिए मुझे 20 साल की ले रहा हूं। तो अगले 20 साल की क्या होगी? पॉइंट नंबर 1, अभी सब निची होने वाला है। निची मतलब बटरफ्लाई देखने वाला बटरफ्लाई देखेगा, वर्ल्ड शार्क देखने वाला वेल शार्क देखेगा, फायर फ्लाई के लिए जाने वाला फायर फ्लाई देखेगा। ये निची टूरिज्म है। और सेकेंड पॉइंट, यार अकेले सिर्फ इको टूरिज्म और एक साइट पे जाने के लिए कोई नहीं होगा। रिलीजियस भी चाहिए, अच्छा खाना भी चाहिए, और स्थानिक मेडिसिन भी चाहिए, इको टूरिज्म भी चाहिए, और उसको तो बीवी के लिए साड़ी भी ले जाना है। शॉपिंग जरूर चाहिए ही चाहिए। सो ये है हमारा अभी पॉलिसी की प्लानिंग। हम अभी होलिस्टिक ला रहे हैं। एक्सपीरियंस तो है, साथ ही आपको सब जो 10 डिफरेंट निची आपकी एक साथ देने वाले हैं। अब मैडम बात कर रही थी पॉलिसी की क्या जरूरत है। पिछले 20 साल में हमने जो किया उसमें प्रोफेशनलिज्म ज्यादा जरूरत है। और मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूं आज की तारीख में वो नहीं रहा है। पदम डुंगरी कौन कौन गया? कोई गया यहां से पदम डुंगरी? बाप रे, इतना लोग चले गए। पदम डुंगरी एक साल में 35 लाख बिजनेस करती है, नेट प्रॉफिट की बात कर रहा हूं, बट उसका स्कोप है 3 करोड़ का। उसी के लिए ये पॉलिसी है, ये एक सेमिनार है। और इन्वेस्टर कौन कौन है इसमें? पैसा लेके आए, बाप रे। ओके, एक मैडम मेरे बगल में बैठे थे, वो बता रहे थे। सो स्कोप है, कैसे स्कोप है मैं बताना चाहता हूं। एक पॉलिसी बनने वाली है, वो होलिस्टिक पॉलिसी है। उसमें जो P4 है प्राइवेट को करने वाले हैं। और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है जो टूरिस्ट फॉरिन बोल रहे हैं, इवन डोमेस्टिक टूरिज्म में भी हाई वैल्यू है, उस पे फोकस करने वाले हैं। और कैरिंग कैपेसिटी एक बहुत बड़ा क्रिटिकल पॉइंट है। फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट रेगुलेशन, यार मैं ये बोल रहा हूं, आपको सोना अंडा चाहिए तो मुर्गी की तो रखना पड़ेगा ना, मोटे मुर्गी को काटना ही चाहिए ना। सो इसके लिए आपको कभी कभी फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट बोलते होंगे भाई मुर्गी को छोड़ो, अंडा खाओ। सो इसके लिए मैं बोल रहा हूं कैरिंग कैपेसिटी इज द क्रिटिकल पार्ट इन द पॉलिसी। वी विल रेस्ट्रिक्ट द नंबर एंड वी विल गिव द फुल एक्सपीरियंस। और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया भी इसी पॉलिसी को फॉलो कर रही है। अभी पीपीपी कैसे होंगे? फर्स्ट वी विल आइडेंटिफाई द प्रोडक्ट, वी विल डू द ब्रांडिंग, फिर उसका बाद उसमें कौन कौन इंटरेस्टेड है उसको प्रॉपर टेंडर और यूओई सेलेक्ट करेंगे, और उसके बाद क्या एक्सपीरियंस दे रहेगा उसको स्टैंडर्डाइज करेंगे और उसको मार्केट करेंगे। ये मॉडल कैसे होगी? जैसे हमारा मंत्री साहब ने बोला है, बिल्ड, ऑपरेट एंड ट्रांसफर, इस मोड पे चलने वाले। न्यू इनिशिएटिव क्या है भाई? इसमें नया क्या है? पहले भी चल रहा था, ये न्यू इनिशिएटिव क्या है? एग्जैक्टली न्यू इसमें है, नंबर्स इंक्रीज होने वाले हैं। अभी 50 लाख टूरिस्ट है, 1 करोड़ होने वाला है। अभी जो कम्युनिटीज है कम रुकने वाला है, ज्यादा कम्युनिटीज इन्वॉल्व होने हैं। और होम स्टेस और रूरल और एग्रीकल्चर को साथ में जोड़ने वाले हैं। प्रोडक्ट इंटीग्रेटेडली बनने वाले हैं। आपको 2 दिन तो मिनिमम उस गांव में रहना ही पड़ेगा, ऐसे पैकेज बनाएंगे। अभी आई वैली के बारे में बहुत बात हुई, और नीचे देखेंगे ट्रेडिशनल और मॉडर्न में क्या है। एक तो तुमको सुबह 4 बजे से अगले दिन शाम को 6 बजे तक आपको एंगेज रखेंगे। क्यों? क्योंकि बाकी टूरिज्म की इसकी एक फर्क है। मैंने जो 3rd पॉइंट फर्स्ट बताया, इसमें आपको क्या मिलने वाला है? नॉलेज मिलने वाला है। इसमें क्या मिलने वाला है? एक्सपीरियंस मिलने वाला है। क्या नॉलेज है? आप एक पेलिकन है ना, 3 किलो की मच्छी खाती है और 3 बजे उठने के लिए वॉकिंग चलती है। स्पून बिल एक बर्ड है, वो पूरा आपको दूर से भी पता चलेगा एक स्पून बिल बर्ड है, पूरा लेक में खोद के खाती है। ये एक्सपीरियंस आपको मिलने वाला। डॉल्फिन है, ये ग्रुप में चलता है, उसकी एक्सपीरियंस मिलने वाला। सो ये पॉइंट है, अभी इसी पे फोकस करने वाले हैं। हर चीज गाइडेड इंटरप्रिटेशन होने वाला है। रोम में ना, रोम में सिर्फ टूटा फूटा हुआ क्या है? पत्थर है, बट उसको कैसे एक्सपीरियंस करवाते हैं। यहाँ पे राजा कर रहा था, यहाँ ग्लैडिएटर आया था, उनको भी यहाँ से देखने मेरे को भी लग रहा था सच में वो उसमें है। वो मिसिंग है, वो लाना चाहिए। और मैंने बोला ना क्या पैकेज में है, एक तो ट्रैकिंग, दूसरा है मैरीन लाइफ एक्सपीरियंस, और तीसरा है वाइल्ड लाइफ और कैंपिंग। आप कैंप करके देखो, आपकी जितनी भी डिप्रेशन है, डिजिटल डिटॉक्स, एक आजकल 24 घंटा हम रील में ही देखते रहते हैं। तो एक बार फॉरेस्ट में कैंप करेंगे ना, पूरा बॉडी डिटॉक्स हो जाएगा। मैं भी 130 था, आप देखो 92 में है। और डार्क एक्सपीरियंस, अभी तक यार हम लोग इसका आनंद ही नहीं लिए। हाँ आनंद है नहीं वो आनंद नहीं, फोटो में भी आनंद है। सो देखो, नेचर एजुकेशन में सबसे है यार, जनरेशन कनेक्ट होगी। आप तो स्मार्ट लिविंग हो गए, अभी गुड एयर, गुड वाटर और गुड इसी से ही होंगे। आपकी नेक्स्ट जनरेशन की कनेक्शन से ही होगी। ये सब प्रोडक्ट एक साथ मिलने वाले हैं। और ऑलरेडी हमारा कोस्टल और रासट ये सब तो बात किया, उसको अभी कनेक्ट करवाएंगे। एक्सपीरियंस क्या होंगे, ऑलरेडी इसका पहले सूरत में क्रूज टूरिज्म के बारे में बात हुई, यहां से लेके तापी तक। दूसरी बात है, हमारा पोटेंशियल है, ऑलरेडी 23,000 पर डे स्टैच्यू में आ रही है, पर डे 23,000 टूरिस्ट आ रही है। उसको स्टैच्यू देखने के बाद क्या है, आपको डांग तक ले जाना है। ऑलरेडी उसी एंगल से एक रोड भी बन गए, मंजूरी भी हो गया डिपार्टमेंट से। सो ये सब कनेक्ट होंगे उससे। और सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है, गुजरात की एक प्रॉब्लम है, मानसून सीजन की छोड़ के बाकी पूरा ड्राई है। सो मैं इसके लिए बोल रहा हूं, जो इन्वेस्टर है आपको फोकस करना है, तुम्हारा टूरिज्म कैलेंडर पूरा साल में मिले। फॉर एग्जांपल अभी गर्मी है, अभी सन बहुत अच्छा दिखेगा, सॉरी मून अच्छा दिखेगा, और रात को अच्छे स्टार्स दिखेंगे। सो उस पे फोकस करना है। सपोज अभी मानसून आ रही है, उसके पहले फायर फ्लाई स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे, तो फायर फ्लाई की टूरिज्म चलेगी। और मानसून के बाद मशरूम आएगी, मशरूम की टूरिज्म चलेगी। और कैंपिंग की विंटर बेस्ट है, सो विंटर। सो टूरिज्म कैलेंडर थ्रू आउट द ईयर। और दूसरा एज ग्रुप, रेस्ट लेना चाहते हैं उसके लिए अलग, और यंगस्टर है उसके लिए ट्रैकिंग, और बच्चे हैं उसके लिए नेचर एजुकेशन कैंप। ये आपको एज ग्रुप पकड़ना है, और बजट पकड़ना है, और तीसरा सीजन पकड़ना है। मुझे लग रहा है मैं ज्यादा बोल दिया, अब मैं फिनिश करता हूं। ये सबको कैसे करने वाले हैं, हम इसको डिजिटलाइज करने वाले हैं। ऑलरेडी मेरे पास 48 साइट है, उसमें 42 साइट फंक्शनल है, और अलग अलग एंगल से, अलग अलग वेबसाइट से उसकी बुकिंग हो रही है। हम एक साथ इंटीग्रल करने वाला वन, और एक्सपीरियंस को एक्सप्लोर करने वाले का साथ हमारे साथ एक जूथ में, एक वेबसाइट में सब फोटो उसके एक्सपीरियंस आ जाए, एक्सपीरियंस को स्टैंडर्ड करके उसको बेच के और ग्रोथ करने वाले। सो इतना करेंगे तो क्या होगा, आपकी, मैंने बोला क्रिटिकल है इंटरप्रिटेशन, और इसमें है ऑलरेडी एक्सपर्ट्स है गुजरातीस, और अभी 12 महीने टूरिज्म चल रही है, और आपके पास सब असेट है, ये सबको कनेक्ट कर दी, ठीक है। सब क्या होगी, क्या पहले तो हम ये नंबर तो बोला ना, 50 लाख से 1 करोड़ होगी। और दूसरा है हमारा पॉलिसी रिवाइज होगी, उसमें ज्यादा स्टेक होल्डर्स आएंगे। और पहले प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टर्स की ये सोच रहे थे मनी की, मेरा मनी की क्या होगा। वही बोल रहा हूं, इतना 12 प्रोडक्ट आपके एक साथ हैं, और सरकारी प्रोएक्टिवली आ रहे हैं, मैडम इतना बड़ा पॉलिसी बन रहे हैं, और सब सिंगल फाइल से आपको जल्दी क्लियर होगी, टूरिज्म ग्रोथ हो ही जाएगा। और ऑलरेडी टॉप में चल रहा है सूरत, और इससे भी टॉप पे चलेगी। और हम सोच रहे हैं हम सब मिलके ऐसे बढ़िया इंडिया को बनाएंगे, ठीक है। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking us through the high value, low impact experience based ecotourism. We now move on to our second presentation. May I invite Mr. Arjun Majumdar, founder and CEO India Hikes, to share his insights. May I request Mr. Tushar Babur, section officer, to kindly felicitate sir. Mr. Majumdar leads India Hikes, one of India's largest trekking organizations, and is widely recognized for promoting sustainable and responsible trekking practices across the Himalayas. Please give sir a huge round of applause. Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Arjun Majumdar. I am the CEO and the founder of India Hikes. Now, I don't know whether you know about India Hikes, but India Hikes is India's largest trekking organization. more than 35,000 people trek with us every year. But we were not largest ones. We were very small once upon a time, 17, 18 years ago. We were very small. We started in 2008. And I'm laying this context because ecotourism is something which is in our blood. We deal with the state governments, the forest departments in almost every region of our country, and we're dealing with them very, very closely. So I know a thing or two about how these things work. And I'm telling this to you because most of the famous treks that you know in our country, if you've heard of them, the Rupkund, the Rupin Pass, the Kashmir Great Lakes, the Tarsal Marsal, the name the trek, most of them have been explored, documented, and brought out by India Hikes. In this legacy, we are partnered with a lot of forest departments, ecotourism departments, state governments, and we are trekking in all parts of the country. Skill development, a lot of these things are going on in our country. So in this, I had to give you this background to tell you what I'm proposing today for Gujarat, because I'm sharing my real world example from a person who has seen it over the last 17, 18 years. The problem is not of the sites that we are talking about. Gujarat has some of the best sites in the world. Sir has mentioned, ma'am has mentioned, Minister Sir has mentioned. That is not the problem. The problem is positioning. How do you position them vis-a-vis the rest of the other states and the rest of the country? This is the problem. Now, we have conducted treks everywhere across the country. Some treks have been successful, some have been unsuccessful. But wherever they have been successful is the positioning that has been worked for them. Now, we need to position Gujarat or some of the locations or some of the sites of Gujarat very, very sharply. If the positioning is not sharply, then the tourism is very mild in that place. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. It will happen. But if the tourism of that place has to grow, then the positioning needs to be very sharp. I have just made 2 suggestions here. You can come up with a 3rd positioning or a 4th positioning, but these positionings need to be very, very sharp. The sharper the positioning, the better the tourism potential. This is what we have seen with our experience. So my proposal and my suggestion is very simple. If Gujarat can position some of its potentials sharply, then there is no problem of tourism. The rest is the development part of it, which can be taken care of. For example, these are all suggestions. These are not the realities. You all know Gujarat better than I do. For example, flamingo trails. Sir was talking about Kutch, Little Kutch. All of that is fine, and thousands of flamingo comes. But positioning it as a flamingo trail for those who are in the adventure tourism, that's the positioning. And if you cannot position it, then we cannot keep saying, we have flamingos, please come. It needs to be positioned, and people from everywhere needs to come there. They need to know that such potential is there, and positioning is the one which does it. Now, when you position something sharply, then you ignore the rest and you don't position the others. And that's very important, that you learn how to sacrifice. You must learn how not to position certain places so that some of the strong positions are taken by some of the places, like the flamingo trails, like the lion walks. Now we know you can come into Gir, but what do you do in Gir? We don't want to go through the safaris. But can we do in the lion walks in the buffer zones? Yes, there is a lot of potential. We are doing that in Pench in Madhya Pradesh. Pench in Madhya Pradesh, we developed a trek and we called it the Pench Tiger Trail. The positioning is very strong. It's called the Pench the Tiger Trail. And in 1 year alone, last year, when we launched it, more than 1,600 people did that trek. That's very big numbers for trekking. It's the positioning that works. For example, marine life explorations. Now you have marine life, but how do you position it is the main thing. You go to Australia, there's the Great Barrier Reef. They have positioned the Great Barrier Reef as one of the biodiversity hotspots of the world, and tourists from all across the world are visiting the Great Barrier Reef when you have a similar site here and the positioning nobody knows. I have been there and I've been here, and I'm telling you there's no difference. It's just that positioning, nobody knows that such a site exists. It's not about knowledge also, it's the positioning, how you position it. The Great Barrier Reef. There are a lot of reefs in the world. But Australia has learned how to position it. So we can say we have a marine life national park, but that's not enough. How do you position it? Is the whole problem. Similarly, sir was mentioning about the various forest trails, and I was seeing the pictures, and I've seen forest trails across the country because we work with the forest department, sir, everywhere. How do you position it? How do you position the forest trails? That is the crux of the problem, sir, because I'm sharing my 17, 18 years of work experience, and it boils down to this one factor. How do you position it? Sites are there, places are there. Now, we can always say that Gujarat has the best. And I'm telling you, Madhya Pradesh just told me that few days ago. Odisha is telling me the same story because they want us to come and open up trails over there. That's not the problem. The problem is the positioning. So, some of the mistakes which Gujarat must avoid are these. Weak positioning. And I'm giving you a real life example. Whenever we have positioned something strongly, we have seen the results. We have seen in year 1 of Painch Tiger Trail, more than 1,700 people trekking. Uttarakhand has positioned itself as a Himalayan trekking destination. Through us alone, last year about more than 19,000 people have trekked there. Now, another mistake that we have seen, because we have seen over the last almost 2 decades that we have observed, is neglecting conservation and leaving it for too late. I know a lot of you have been speaking about it here, but from my experience, what I've seen is we neglect it and we leave it in a very open-ended gray area. But the real thing that you need to work with is waste management. Single thing. Don't call it conservation, don't call it anything else, but how do you manage waste? Because everywhere in our country we have gone, from the forest department to tourism department, most of the department have no idea how to manage the waste. They say we will do it, they say the stakeholders will do it, but there is really nobody who's doing it. This is our experience. And even today when I'm speaking, this is the central problem of sustainability. How do you manage your waste? And we leave it too late. We think let the tourism develop and then I will do the waste management. मैं थोड़ा हाथ जोड़ के बोलना चाहता हूँ, ये पहले करना है आपको. You have to think of it first and then develop the tourism around it. And everybody is talking about partnering with the private organization. Everybody is talking it. We'll have PPP model. We have a lot of this model. But what we have seen is it's in the designing and the positioning is where you have to partner with the private organization. Designing and the positioning of the experience, not in the development of the sites. This is from our experience that we have seen. Whenever the governments have partnered with us, we have seen fantastic results. In designing of the experience, because a lot of things come there. Little while ago, sir was mentioning that, the local communities have to be developed, people have to be developed. And this is what I have seen is that when we are talking about development of the community, we are talking about knowledge development. We are not talking about development of the people. What we have seen is, we go to a region, we open up treks, homestays open up, everywhere things are opening up and people are very excited. A whole village has changed. Now India Hex has come in and trekking will develop here. The local folks have no idea how to speak about their own regions. They don't know how to do it. The communication skills are missing. That what is the goodness about this place, what is the history, the culture, they're unable to do it. They may be able to, they carry their grandfather's stories, the father's stories, but that's about it. But I'm telling you, those stories are very sketchy. It's not in-depth stories. So they're unable to share stories with whoever comes there. When I'm talking about experience, this is also experience, and training them, training the folks who will be involved in that place needs to start even before we develop that place. This is from our experience that we have noticed. We leave this development way too late. By then the place has overgrown or grown and it becomes a very, very messy affair. We have seen this across our country. From across our country we have noticed this. So skill development needs to be done very soon. And what skill development is very, very important. We cannot leave it broad-based and say this is skill development. We need to be very focused on skill development of folks. And now I'm going to say something which some of you will not like hearing it, but I will anyway say it. Sometimes over-investing in infrastructure is not a good idea. We have seen this in regions after regions where you have over-invested and smashed that place. It's become bad. You don't want a very finished structure in the middle of the forest. That kills the experience. But you go down to Uttarakhand, you go down to Himachal, you go down to some of the places where we have been, it's done over and beyond what is required. Where we should have invested is in waste management. That has not been done, but we are over-invested. We have allowed people to be on the buffer area in big palatial resorts. That actually kills the place. That actually kills the place. We have seen that. So, if you go across the world, wherever we have been, what we have noticed is that there is a fine balance on how you allow and how many you allow and to what scale you allow. Over-investing in infrastructure is also not good for ecotourism. And we have done that. These are very... Where did it go? These are simple things. It must stay up to this stage. Anything beyond that is over-investing. Now, a lot of people say, ये तो हमारे 5-star जैसे तो नहीं होगा. लेकिन ये सही है, and this is how it needs to stay. So, पता नहीं मैं कुछ ज़्यादा ही बोल दिया तो मैं इधर ही ख़त्म करना चाहता हूँ because I've just shared in very simple ways my experience of the last 17-18 years in taking India Hacks forward and trekking forward in our country. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for highlighting the importance of the positioning of the sites. And it's an honor for us. We have the Minister of State, Forest and Environment, Shri Praveen Kumar Madi, with us. Some, if you may please, we kindly request you to address the gathering with few words. Yes, sir.
સૌને નમસ્કાર. ઇકોટુરિઝમના પ્રેઝન્ટેશનમાં ઉપસ્થિત શાલિનીબેન, અંશુમાનજી, ફોરેસ્ટના અધિકારીશ્રીઓ. અંશુમાનજી, પ્રેઝન્ટેશન તમારા લેવલથી થઈ ગયું બાકી છે? થઈ ગયું છે? કરી દઈએ. इसमें टूर ऑपरेटर कितने लोग हैं? टूर ऑपरेटर ओके. फॉरेस्ट एक्सपीरियंस वाले आपका कोई इनपुट? ये जो पॉलिसी अभी तो ड्राफ्ट हुई नहीं है, अंशुमान जी बना रहे हैं. हम जब एक चिंतन शिविर किया था और सोचा कि इको टूरिज्म का पूरे वर्ल्ड में बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटी रही हुई, तो हम गुजरात में भी इसके लिए कुछ सोचे. अभी तक जितनी भी साइटें हैं उससे सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं था, इसीलिए कुछ नई पॉलिसी रिवाइव करने का सोचा था. इसलिए अभी बन रही है और इसी वाइब्रेंट समिट में हम उसको आपके ओर ले जा रहे हैं कि आपके भी इनपुट आए. तो ये मेरा स्पीच इज़ नॉट नेसेसरी, लेकिन आपके अनुभव मुझे ज़्यादा चाहिए. पता नहीं वो सेशन अभी है कि नहीं है, लेकिन मैं 5 मिनट तो ये चाहता हूँ कि आप ही कुछ सजेशन दे, है ना. लेकिन मेरी हाजिरी में तो ठीक रहेगा ना, है ना. हाँ, तो मुझे उसमें ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट है कि आप ही कुछ शेयर कीजिएगा. बस इतना ध्यान रखना है कि आपके जो भी इनपुट्स है वो वर्ल्ड कैटेगरी के इको टूरिज्म जितने भी है उसको ध्यान में रखकर ही आप सजेशन देना, ना कि किसी स्टेट को ध्यान में रखकर, है ना. इतना मेरा आपको एक सजेशन था. थैंक यू.
Thank you. Panel discussion. Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now we move on to our very awaited session. We'll have the panels. To chair the panel, we have Ms. Shalini Agrawal, a senior IS officer of 2005 batch, known for her exemplary leadership in governance and urban transformation. She has been conferred awards by the Honorable President of India 3 times for leading Surat to be ranked India's cleanest city under Swachh Sarvekshan in 23 and 24. She has also received National Award for the Best City in National Clean Air Program, Best City in Intelligent Transport System and Water Conservation. She also holds 4 Guinness World Records for large-scale public initiatives covering the fields of yoga, Ayushman Bharat, healthcare of pregnant women. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your presence. Now I'll request the panelists to come onto the stage one by one. May I invite Mr. Stephen Marshall, founder and director, Himalayan Ecotourism. May I request Mr. Rohan Gaur, team lead, to kindly felicitate sir. Mr. Stephen is a pioneer in community-based ecotourism in Himachal Pradesh. He has developed sustainable tourism models that empower local communities. We welcome you, sir. Please give sir a huge round of applause. May I now invite Mr. Rupesh Kumar K, CEO, Kerala Responsible Tourism Mission Society. May I request Mr. Devang Vigad to kindly felicitate sir. Mr. Rupesh Kumar is a leading figure in responsible tourism in India. He has been instrumental in positioning Kerala as a global model for sustainable tourism. May I now invite Mr. Parag Ragnikar, founder Mrigaya Nature Retreat. May I request Ms. Chandralekha to kindly felicitate sir. Mr. Parag is a noted naturalist and conservationist. He promotes biodiversity conservation through experiential ecotourism in Goa. May I now invite Professor Dr. Sandeep Kulshetra, Director, Central University of Himachal Pradesh. May I request Mr. Prabhat to kindly felicitate sir. Dr. Sandeep is a distinguished academic with decades of experience in tourism, education, and policy, contributing significantly to sustainable tourism research. Thank you so much, sir. May I now invite Mr. Chandrasekhar Vatsavle, founder, Saguna Bagh. May I request Ms. Shreya to kindly felicitate sir. Mr. Chandrasekhar is a pioneer in agrotourism. He has developed innovative sustainable farming and rural tourism models. I also invite Ms. Tejal Parmar, Team Lead SEU, to kindly moderate the session. She brings over 12 years of experience in government consulting with strong focus on project management, policy implementation, monitoring of key development initiatives. Chair.
For establishing the low impact conservation driven tourism enterprises in the fragile ecosystem. And as you have 2 decades of experience in the sector, including extensive global exposure, sir, what key challenges do you foresee in developing ecotourism in the ecologically sensitive areas?
Yep, can you hear me? Okay. I'm very sorry. I'm very bad in replying question in 5 minutes. So I would prefer to read so that I remain within the given time. Thank you. So to answer your question, I would like to share insights from 2 ecological sensitive regions I've been working for many years. So these examples help us understand how the challenges of tourism actually emerge on the ground. So I would like to start with the Great Himalayan National Park, GHNP in short, in Himachal Pradesh. So let me begin with a success story. In the GHNP region, we worked with local trekking staff, guide, cook porters, who were operating individually under external operators with low income and no bargain power. So we helped them to form a cooperative society. And therefore, their income increased, and more importantly, they felt that their enhanced income was directly linked to the health of the environment. So as a result, they naturally became active leaders of regeneration. They started planting trees, working for prevention of forest fires. They organized cleanup drives, etc. So this is a key principle. When livelihood depends on nature, as it is with ecotourism, the community becomes its protector of the nature. And so we have to make sure that the locals are the primary beneficiaries of revenues from tourism in these eco-sensitive areas. Think about it. It is really, we have to use tourism to create that symbiotic relationship between the natural environment and the community. But this comes with challenges, of course. It came with challenges because near the GHNP, tourism was already growing. And so private operators remain active and they were opposing to the cooperative society. So we could not have all the staff in the valley in the cooperative society. And that has created a fragmented community. It has given birth to unregulated competition. Basically, it was and it is still a race to the bottom. So when operators compete on price, wages go down, environmental standards are ignored, and short-term profits dominate the process. Another issue that I have seen is when the local lease their land to outsiders for quick income and to avoid financial investment. This removes the local control, and once control is lost, it becomes very difficult to manage tourism in a responsible manner. So in such scenario, the environmental consequence is clear: overuse of resources, poor or no waste management, that has been said already, and a loss of long-term stewardship. The second case I would like to bring is Ladakh. Ladakh offers quite a contrasting example. The first thing I would like to note is that all the guides, trekking guides in Ladakh, they are organized under one single association. And so their wages are 3 to 5 times higher than the wages of the guides in Himachal Pradesh. So that shows very well that unity creates both economic strength and responsibility. So before introducing tourism in remote villages of Ladakh, we first helped the villager to form village tourism committee. Then importantly, we approached the local administration to request them to recognize these committees and give them authority to manage tourism around their village, in their valley. And the administration did it. So today, number of visitors are controlled and they pay a sustainability fee to the committee. Waste is managed by the locals. Income is fairly distributed and tourism respects carrying capacity. So here, with that model, tourism support the environment instead of degrading it. So from these experiences, what are the identified challenges, as you were asking? We have seen fragmented communities leads to very weak control over tourism. Unregulated competition puts pressure both on wages and the environment. External operators capturing value creates economic leakages, while short-term decisions result in a loss of local ownership. And a lack of governance ultimately leads to overuse of fragile ecosystem. So all these factors directly translate into environmental degradation. We do not want to see this cheap tourism. Responsibility has a cost that the tourist has to pay. Ecotourism is not a cheap thing, actually. So is there a solution? Most of these challenges can actually be avoided if we prepare the community before tourism. That is, I think, a very important message today. Practically, what does that mean? It means identifying local leaders, those people who have a good intention. This can be done through local NGOs, for example, and working with them to organize the communities into local associations. That is crucial. We have to have unity in the community. It also involves building awareness about both the opportunities and the risk of tourism, and surely putting system in place with the local associations to ensure that economic benefits remains within the community. When communities are prepared, tourism become a tool for regeneration, as I've seen in the GHNP, not exploitation. And we have a complete methodology for doing this social process. I would like to add that this is a beautiful opportunity for a PPP. This is where the government plays a critical role, not as a controller, but as a facilitator. The Ladakh example shows how effective it is. Government can recognize and empower local associations, support capacity building and training, protect local ownership, and ensure fair and regulated development in participation with the local association. Practically, I have something to suggest. We should appoint an officer at the block level. That person can sit with the DFO or at the BDO office, and this officer would have the role to engage directly with the community, build awareness about tourism potential and risk, support the creation of local association, and surely connect the locals with fundings, training, and relevant institution. This creates a bridge between policy and ground reality. So if there is one key takeaway, it is this: prepare the community before promoting tourism. Because the communities are empowered, tourism do not threaten the ecosystem, it helps regenerate it.
So thank you, sir, for your insight on how the local communities can be engaged in the ecotourism for a sustainable ecotourism. Now I would like to come to Mr. Rupesh. Sir, as you have been deeply involved in promoting the responsible tourism initiative, and as Anshuman sir has mentioned in the inaugural session that Kerala has established a dedicated society for responsible tourism. So, sir, tell us about the model of responsible tourism adopted by Kerala and how it has helped Kerala into a tourism value chain, sir.
Thank you for the question and thank you for inviting me for this wonderful initiative. I would like to congratulate the organizers of such a wonderful discussion and panel, because this is the first time I heard about to integrate responsible tourism and ecotourism in a same platform. I would like to really congratulate the people who are behind it. Till now, Kerala never discussed about the integration of ecotourism and responsible tourism, because Kerala started the initiative of responsible tourism in the world, in India at first, after the implementation of South African model from Cape Town. But at present, it is working in a different way in the state with ecotourism and responsible tourism. There are some differences for the adoption. So I would like to congratulate once again. When we think about Kerala Responsible Tourism Initiative, we have started Responsible Tourism Initiative to address the concerns raised by the local community or host community in some part of Kerala. And I was also the part of some agitations and some dialogues and some debates against the unethical practices of tourism in various parts of Kerala destinations. I can tell you that Kerala, not only Kerala's responsible tourism movement, the responsible tourism concept is always tries to develop, to create better place for people to live in and better place for people to visit. So the first core objective to ensure the life of the community, to empower the life of the community through tourism. That's a major thing. At the same time, to create better experiences and responsibility for the tourist. So we have started the initiative in 2007. At first, it was a personal initiative from my side, from some part of Kerala, and then the government decided to conduct, to develop it as a project of the state. We selected 4 destinations: Kumaragam, Thekadi, Kolam, and Vaitiri. And we have started at first economic responsibility. Without the economic support for the local community, people cannot digest the responsible tourism, ecotourism, or something like that. I can tell you that it is not a rocket science. It's a very simple thing. If we can consider the local community as the major stakeholders of tourism, we can make wonders in tourism sector. That's a success story in Kerala's responsible tourism. We have started various types of activities in various parts of Kerala with the same thrust for 3 responsibilities: economic, social, culture, and environment. but there is a thrust in economic responsibility for the host community. Uh, uh, I can tell you that Kerala is moving very well with the responsible tourism activities after the implementation of responsible tourism, because we can minimize the conflict or clash in between the tourism industry and the local panchayat raj system and the community. That's the first thing, because there is no serious level struggles in between the community and the tourism stakeholders. And the tourism stakeholders of the state adopted responsible tourism as a principle. When I started this initiative, or the government started this initiative, stakeholders were anxious about the concept and the policy. But when it take it as a government initiative, the industry realized that importance of responsible tourism. Now it became a big initiative of the state. Around 150,000 families are working with us as part of this initiative, and 1,200 hotels and resorts adopted responsible tourism as the policy. Not only as the policy, they are really implementing it in their property. If you will be in a hotel or resort in Kerala, you will not get plastic bottles there, because they adopted the policy of responsible tourism, and they removed and placed glass bottles, and they are purchasing uh, eco-friendly straws from the grassroots, from the locality. We tried to make various level of interventions by the local community. We made local production, procurement, and supply mechanism. We made committees with the hotels under the leadership of local panchayat raj system. I can tell you that before starting any tourism activities in the state, if we are trying to develop a new tourism destination, we will conduct special tourism Grama Sabhas at Panchayat Raj level. I don't know whether it is possible to all over part of India, but this is what is happening in Kerala. We will conduct special tourism Grama Sabhas, and we will discuss and we will present the tourism project and the positives and negatives of the tourism projects, not only discuss about the positives. We will try to convince the community members, and we will form a tourism committee and responsible tourism clubs in that villages, and they will lead the initiative. We will start tourism resource mapping in that destination. Each and every corner of that destination will be mapped. Tourism resource mapping means we will consider core tourism attractions, sub attractions, and all types of traditional village life experience activities. We made this is the time of experiential tourism activities. We made village life experience, cultural experience, cuisine experience. I'm not trying to explain all these things, but I can tell you that when we started this initiative, the villagers were anxious about this initiative, and there were some serious level agitation that it is the program of CIA. Okay, it's a program. This is the style of Kerala. Somebody declared that is the program directed by American spy organization. It's the program of CIA, and fortunately or unfortunately, I became one of the leader of the CIA. But we tried to convince the people, and the people are leading it. It is not only a government initiative. We have 150,000 families working with us, and as part of this initiative, if you can come to Kerala or come to Kumaragam or some part of Kerala, you will get the chance to take selfies from the top of a coconut tree. This is the style of activities. That means for us, experiences means we need to provide livelihood activities for the farmers, for the villagers through tourism. There is no need to invest anything from the farmer. If a coconut farmer, he owns a land with coconuts, that is the investment. If a coir maker, coir making is the investment. If a weaver, weaving is the investment. The tourist will come and join with them for hands-on experiences, and there is a professional package. There are 140 professional packages made by us, and there is a package cost. It will be shared to the community. I am not talking about the tips. There is a package cost, and there will be community tour leaders. That community tour leaders will lead to the community. there are storytelling trails, there are angling packages, there are farming and agri-tourism initiatives. So many initiatives are running by community members and women-friendly tourism also running there. I can tell you that my women-friendly tourism operators, they are sending tourists to Gujarat also, always. We, previous year we sent around 1 lakh women community members to Gujarat as part of this initiative. So all are considering as the livelihood activities of the grassroots people. That's a major uh, major point I can share with you as part of Kerala's responsible tourism initiative.
Sir, as you talk about the experiential tourism and the villagers were hesitating in the initial phase, sir, given your experience on the government side and your understanding of the policy and implementation constraints, sir, what key learnings and recommendations would you suggest for Gujarat based on your experience?
I am not an expert to share anything for the Gujarat because Gujarat is one of the biggest state and there is a very vibrant initiatives like not only this conference, Gujarat is leading the nation. But based on this experience, we need to consider local community and their feelings too before starting any tourism activities. Otherwise, it will create some sort of agitation or some sort of disagreement by the local community. And waste management is the important part of fact in any tourism activities. Not only in tourism activities, it is so important. And we don't want to make any biggest infrastructure because we already have, when we think about Gujarat, we have very biggest infrastructure development, but we need to create basic infrastructure. From my experience, I can tell you that people need toilet. Cleanliness and toilets are basic needs in a destination, and sanitation, drinking facilities are important. But I don't know whether it will be considered or not. Majority of the projects are not considering basic needs. We are trying to make it to put marbles in in pathways, but there will not be toilets. This is the real challenge which we are facing in Kerala also. People are talking about infrastructure development only, but if we can enable the local community, they can start uh, basic amenities. We have homestays, we have farm stays, we have experienced ethnic cuisine units. If the guest will come to Kerala houses, they can be the part of cooking experience and they can experience the traditional uh, taste of Kerala. What I am suggesting that policy is important, budget allocation is important. At the same time, we need to make a supply mechanism under the leadership of government, and government should be act as a facilitator for promoting tourism activities, not as an entrepreneur, as a facilitator. And government can make policies and they can monitor, they can lead the whole initiative. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. Now, moving on to the academia side, sir, I would like to come to Dr. Sandeep. Sir, as you are a leading academia and a policy expert in ecological adventure, health, cultural tourism, with extensive research experience in sustainable destination development. Sir, based on your global experience, how can adventure and wellness initiative help transform the ecotourism destinations into a year-bound sustainable tourism hub, not rather than the seasonal attractions?
That's very important and valid point. In almost all the area, be it is in India and Europe or Pacific, this become an important aspect that how to make a destination year-round destination. So Kerala is one of them, since he discussed about the Kerala, and later on Kerala and Goa, they branded both the destination as a destination for 365 days. Goa during the rains or Kerala during the off time during the rains. So far as Asia is concerned, I wish to refer the name Malaysia which, and Indonesia. They both are the countries those have done a wonderful work so far as ecotourism is concerned. And see, sometime when we talk about wellness and adventure, they both are the integral part of ecotourism with the minimum negative impact. There will not be any stress, there will not be any tension, there will not be any negative impact when we talk about environmental aspect, when we talk about the society, and so on. So we have to explore when we talk about the wellness. I'm sorry to tell you, if we take the example of our own country, Kerala, the wellness is not the basic product from Kerala. Of course, now they claim that Ayurveda is from Kerala. But if you refer other places, Tamil Nadu or Rishikesh, which is yoga capital, people are selling yoga also there. So we have to explore about the wellness. In most of the places like Northeast is a hub for the men-powered services. The most important aspect is when we talk about wellness tourism, we have to find out the places in Gujarat where the wellness can be developed. For example, when we talk about Dwarika, you know, there is a Ayurveda treatment for the ear. For the, you know, there is a name for this Ayurveda treatment for wellness of the ear, where while you are going to the deep into the sea or in the water, how you can sustain it. And there is a Kriya also. So if a storyteller is there who is discussing about the Dwarika, who is discussing about the Krishna story or the Dwarika which is Amma, and then this sort of activities can be fruitful. Whereas when you talk about the other destinations, similar type of modification in the models has to be taken care. So far as adventure is concerned, the important aspect for adventure is, since I was heading National Institute of Water Sports also in Goa, as well as Indian Institute of Skiing and Mountaineering, both the product are different and both the product has the different safety and security measures required. So unless there is a proper study, because sometimes it is because of the government pressure, we initiate some of the activities, but then it creates the problem. So adventure tourism is also very important when we talk about the eco aspect. But we have to find out what sort of adventure can be useful. Like for example, if you visit Colombo, there are rivers where the river cruises are there, but that is not the cruise like Jabalpur cruise day before yesterday. So small boats, and then how it can move it out with all the safety and security measures. I had been to Shivrajpur and Madhopur, and we did a lot of work because I was director of Indian Institute of Tourism and Travel Management, which was taking care of all these aspects. I'm sorry to tell you, it was because of the community conflict and political pressure the locals have initiated certain activities without any safety and security measures. So when we talk about ecotourism, paragliding, parasailing, I'm in Himachal Central University. This is a place which is known world over for the Olympic game at beer whaling for the paragliding. But let me tell you, in spite of this also, there are casualties every month, at least 2 deaths. So we have to be very careful when we talk about the adventure. Yes, because of the changing scenario, especially after COVID, and I'm sure that from 2026-27, the people, those are, especially like we consider Gujaratis are the number one so far as the international tourism is concerned, the movement from outside is concerned, they will return back. It is not from Gujarat, it is from across the country, people would go for the domestic tourism instead of international. We all are aware how the scenario is moving. So we have to keep all those things in mind, and then we have to move ahead for the wellness and adventure tourism.
Thank you, sir, for your insights. Sir, as you talk about the adventure tourism and about the visitor safety, I would like to ask you, Stephen, sir, in your views, what are the critical critical parameters should guide the identification and development of this hiking, trekking, the trails, and the other ecotourism destination to ensure the ecological sustainability and visitor safety as well?
You see, here it's not about discovering trails or destinations. You know that I like to work with communities, and any eco-sensitive areas will have the human population, which are very well connected with these natural environments. It's not about discovering these trails. These trails already exist. These destination, these beautiful natural places, it's already there and known by the community. They know it very well. They know the risk of going there. They know the safe passage to go. They know the seasonality. They know, and it is very often linked with their tradition, deities. They go and worship in nature. So honestly, it's for us. It is just maybe to improve the trails, but work with the community. And for example, if we are talking about the Great Himalayan National Park, all the trekking trails of the park, all the camping sites were actually used by the locals before the national park to be created. So work with the community again, and just maybe improve the trails, arrange for waste management so that there is something, at least a sustainable use of this destination. But I think that is all. And so that has to be probably implemented with the forest department, which sometimes is seen as a conflictual relationship. The communities and the forest department have sometimes different objectives. The forest department sees nature as something to protect, whereas the locals see nature as something that they need to use for their livelihood. But that conflict, if tourism is implemented in the right way, as I was telling, the primary beneficiaries of tourism is the community. You'll have the best partner to develop your trails and destination in the area.
Thank you, sir. So as we all know that a new segment of tourism is coming up called agro-tourism. Sir, and I would like to come to you, Sir Chandrasekhar, sir, from Saguna Bagh. Sir, as you are a trailblazer in agro-tourism, having transformed Saguna Bagh into a globally recognized model for sustainable rural tourism. Sir, tell us about your experience. What challenges have you faced, and how farm-based agro-tourism activities can revive the rural economies in tribal districts?
I would like to stand so I could see the important person there and he could see me. Namaste ji, namaste. Okay. So agro-tourism, I'm pioneer of agro-tourism in the country, in India. Our center, Saguna Bagh, came to know in 1985. I had returned from America when I was 25. That was 1976. But I found out that by telling that I'm a foreign returned person and came to India to do my farming, nobody gave recognition to me. So I found out nobody even offered me a glass of water with dignity. So this is when I found out that human being we say we need three things: roti, kapda, and makan. But I found out that fourth thing is needed, and that is most important. That should come first, and that is dignity, pratishtha, जो किसानों को मिलती नहीं है. जो रूरल एरिया में जो रहकर काम करता है, anybody who wants to stay in rural India and work there and perform, they don't get dignity. To get the dignity, you have to give something to public. And that I found out by accident. I was tired of living, and I caught a cobra. As I became a snake man, people started giving me dignity. They wanted to come and see snakes at my farm. When I showed them the snakes and explained them the scientific facts about snake, then I explained them, then I asked them, do you know what this plant is? Which was bamboo, and they did not know the different types of bamboos. They did not know where the groundnut came from. They have never seen a beehive from close distance. So we started showing them, giving them the knowledge about agriculture, the experience. One of the most interesting experience that we started giving them on our farm, which I found out that nobody else in the world gives this except Indian farmer. We call that WB ride. Anybody wants to guess what is WB ride? Only of its kind in the whole world by Indian farmer, and that is water buffalo ride. So we, whenever the guests come, we give them this ride. So this is how agro-tourism started at our farm. We defined this as an activity organized by farmer himself on his active farm, where leisure learning and fun is combined together. So this is experience. Couple of things which I liked in earlier lectures: earning well and living well. So living well by every citizen of India, especially India is in rural parts, majority of India, and there where there is no dignity. This is one of the most easiest thing of giving dignity to rural youth and attracting able youth into rural India is the only way we can make the rural India a vibrant place. Vibrant place is, another aspect was living well. We had one Swami from Ramakrishna Mission, Gwalior. When he saw our farm, he said, it is possible to make whole India into 5-star by method of this, by use of this activity, by following this path. According to, we began in 1985. First 5 years, we did not know what we were doing. Then somebody gave us the book called Ecotourism in Australia. Then I found out that this is an activity that exists in Australia who are facing similar problems like Indian farmers or Indian youth or Indian rural people. So then I coined this word Krishi Paryatan. So agro and tourism, Krishi Paryatan. In Krishi Paryatan, able youth can be attracted because of tourism activity. First 5 years, we did not know what we were doing, and because of which we could not even take money. People wanted to give me money, but I could not take money. Being son of a freedom fighter and a social reformer, how can I take money from the guests? But now, we are one of the topmost. According to TripAdvisor, Saguna Bagh is one of the top 10 in the world today as agro-tourism center. The most important thing which our family could achieve is all our 3 children who studied in Western world, who worked in Western world, they all have come back, returned to India. My son who studied in Switzerland, who has come back and who is looking after our setup. So to make Gujarat a vibrant Gujarat in rural backdrop, Krishi Paryatan, agro-tourism is one of the best activity. Yeah, you have any question?
Yeah, sir. So how can, sir, Gujarat curate agrotourism under the larger umbrella of ecotourism while attracting the domestic as well as the international visitors?
Well, it has been proven at Saguna Bagh that it attracts local urban people as well as international students, international tourists at Saguna Bagh. It's been proven for sure agro-ecotourism is a way. How can Gujarat make a beginning? Well, one of the best ways is to show them the existing successful center. And I invite Saguna Bagh as a Saguna Bagh place, I invite you all and your farmers, students, youth who can come, who should see it, who should experience what is agro-rural tourism. So through that, that's one. We are ready to train your youth at our farm, and whenever you are ready to get them started, it's very easy. Our setup was started when we did not have 4 similar cups for tea. We did not have 4 same glasses to offer water. But today, we are paying almost 15 lakh rupees GST per month. So this is possible. Money is not the most important thing. The site also, the most optimum site is also not important thing. It is how, the most important thing according to me, that you should have a active farm and you offer a youth, and that youth family should be ready to welcome unknown guest. These are the two things which are already existing in our country, in our culture. You just need to give a shape to that, and we are ready to help you. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you, sir, for your insights. In the inaugural session, as we come across that now tourists are now preferring to stay with the nature. So I would like to come to you, sir, Mr. Parag, from Mrugia Nature Resort. Sir, as you have developed Mrugia Nature Retreat as a minimalist, wildlife sensitive ecotourism destination rooted in a conservative conservation ethics, and having your vast experience, sir, in running this retreat, share your experience in developing ecotourism and how can homestays, trekking and conservation work provides a meaningful employment pathway for a rural youth of Gujarat while preventing migration and skill drain.
So yeah, thank you for the question and also for having me on this panel. I think the difficult thing about speaking last is that most of your points that you thought of have already been spoken. So, but also I think it helps me to kind of consolidate. Before I answer your question about how Gujarat or any place for that matter can develop ecotourism or responsible sustainable tourism as we call it. Listening to the earlier speakers, we have used the word ecotourism, we have used the word responsible tourism, we have used the word sustainable tourism, and just to let you know, Goa now uses regenerative tourism as a word. So all these terms sometimes I feel confuse people, and in many times you don't know what they really mean, right? I mean, I am not sure what regenerative tourism means, frankly, but so what happens is that when you don't know what that word means, you sometimes use it to your own convenience. Yeah. So I personally prefer responsible tourism because it's a easier word to understand, and because I'm just being responsible in whatever we do. So I think before I answer your question of how, I think I'll give you my perspective about what, as a tour operator, as a person who operates a nature retreat, why do I call myself responsible, I think is important to answer. I think everyone should kind of think about it. Anshuman sir actually mentioned about two aspects about being about nature and society. I'll add a couple of more to it. The first question that I would usually ask myself is that do I accept that whatever I do is going to have an impact? I think that's the first, you know, step that anybody should take. Because whatever I do, you know, we conduct a lot of trails and forest-based trails primarily. Any small trail that I take people on is going to have an impact. I think acceptance is the first step. And then once you've accepted it, you try and work out how you can reduce it. For example, in our case, what we do is that we don't take more than 10 people on a trail at one time. When there are 20, 30 willing to join us, that's a line that I have to draw. Obviously, you know, automatic carrying capacity, everything comes into picture. What I'm trying to do is reduce my impacts. The second is, am I being socially, you know, sensitive in the areas that I'm operating in? Many people have spoken about that, including making local people beneficiaries. I will go one step further and say, are you just trying to make them beneficiaries, or are you trying to make them partners? Are you creating livelihoods, or are you creating employments? I think there's a distinction between these two. Creating livelihoods is what your aim should be, and not just creating employment. Third point is obviously, you know, is conservation built in your model? Are you, and it's just not about, green energy and stuff like that, but am I documenting flora and fauna around my area? Am I doing long-term monitoring in that area? I think that's very crucial. Am I building capacities of my staff, my local communities? You know, I think that's also important. And the third, and I think the fourth and the most important point that I would like to raise is, whatever I'm offering, whether it's a stay or whether it's a trail, is there a component of education built into it? You know, it's, for example, we have a underlying principle that whoever walks with me in a forest or in whichever landscape, is that person going back better educated about the landscape, about its people, and not just educated? Is he going back with a little bit of more respect for the landscape and its people? I think that's very, very, very crucial. If I tick all these 4 boxes, then I, you know, can claim to be a responsible, tour operator or whatever. So I think that's, you know, what, you know, before I answer how. Coming to how, I think, tourism, I feel, should be looked at from the conservation and livelihood lens, and not as a hospitality product. That's my personal opinion. You know, people may not, everybody may not agree, but I think that's very, very crucial to see that livelihood and conservation is not an add-on. You know, it's part of the design. I think that's very, very crucial. In Goa, you know, we have worked on 2 models. I'd like to share my experience. We have set up Goa's first homestay, which is owned and operated by women. 6 women operate that homestay. It's called the Jungle Trails Homestay. And we have also set up Goa's first tourism cooperative. And I mean, Goa has a history of tourism, more than, you know, 5 decades of tourism happening, but nobody really thought of a cooperative model. And, you know, so what did we do there? Now, these 2 places were already seeing footfalls. Most of it by city-based tour operators. City-based tour operators would get, you know, bus full of people there. You know, they would hire maybe, you know, a local guy who's, you know, unemployed, pay him 200, 300 rupees to show them the waterfall or, you know, whatever trek they are on. In some cases, even offering him a quarter of brandy, you know, that bad. And they would then, you know, make all the money. Those guys would then play music, you know, be loud, drink, you know, break bottles, and the same bottles would wash down the, you know, waterways into the paddy fields where, you know, the animals and people would get cut, you know. So the problem was that tourism was happening, but it was not really benefiting the local people. So that is the time, you know, when we decided to be catalysts. I think that's a very important action point for whichever state is, or, you know, any place that you are trying to do that. Local people need catalysts. And that is the role which NGOs, governments, whoever can play. So what do you, so, and it's not an easy job. It's tough to convince people, work with them. It took us 7 to 8 months to actually get a yes from people. So when we asked them, are you, you know, willing to start tourism here? The first reaction was no. We don't want tourists coming here. So, but then when we, you know, slowly started discussing with them that, you know, tourists are already coming, and tomorrow if, let's say, the tourism department or the forest department starts getting more people, are you in the position to say no? So then said, no, what can we do? So he said, you take control. Why don't you, organize yourself? So that being catalyst is very, very important, and that's how this cooperative society came into being. The second is, building capacities of these people is, very, very important. And I think that's, again, a lot of people have spoken about it. Just to add a little bit, there are, all these people there already know their landscape. They know about the flora, fauna, it just, I think, Mazumdar sir also mentioned, it's just about polishing them a little bit. Don't really have to, create guides. Guides already exist. It's just a, matter of polishing it a bit. Very important is to create ownerships. Ownerships is something that we need to create, whether it is a self-help group model or a cooperative model, and that's what we have done. I don't think, just creating a facility and employing locals there to work is the way. I think creating ownership, I think most of people have also spoken about that. And then finally, transparency. I think if you can have clear-cut transparency about what your objectives are, financial transparency as well, and if you can tick again all these 3-4 boxes, then you will have a good model of community ownership. People spoke about carrying capacity. I'll just add a little bit to that. There are different ways of looking at carrying capacity, ma'am. Carrying capacity is a very engineering kind of model, frankly, how it's worked. For example, in one of our waterfalls, because the parking space can hold 10 vehicles, 10 into 6 people, 60 people can go at one time. It's a very mathematical model. But there is a social model as well, and it's called acceptability limits or limits of acceptability. And it's, you can Google it. So what it's trying to say is that in that waterfall area, if there's a small hamlet or a small village, how many people, or guests are the local people willing to accept? So that is something that, and we have explored that in our project where we, because it was a homestay concept, we worked with the women. We spoke only to the women about how many people they can, have at their homes. And that was with a clear understanding that is the women who do maximum work, in our villages. So, and then we arrived at a number of 4 to 5 people staying at one time in the village, in the home. And through discussions, then the women also said that if a group comes and stays with me for a couple of days, I want a break of 4 days before, another group comes in. So, I think discussing is very, very important. So that's what has come up, and that's the whole acceptability limit concept. There are a lot of intangible benefits. The homestay last year, made around 11 lakhs profit, 6 women. May not be a big amount for many, but for those women, it means a lot. There's one, we call her Mami, 70-year-old woman, when she buys something for her granddaughter, without having to ask her husband or her son, you can't really measure it in terms of money, And then there's a lot of cultural exchange. We get foreigners, the confidence that the women have built, again, you can't really measure it. And there's of course the environmental side as well, the conservation side. All these people used to kill snakes, the moment they see it. Earlier, now they know that people come there to see snakes, photograph them. Not that killing has completely stopped, but it's reduced to a large extent. We worked on another very important concept, and that's something that you all can think of, is you don't want to change, the place, the country. You need to change the tourist. I think that's very, very crucial. I will, if you want to come and experience my village, if you want to come and experience my life, you got to change. I will not change for you. I think this is something that is very, very crucial, because, again, I've seen a lot of domestic tourists can be very, very demanding. They'll ask for all kinds of stuff, and, sometimes something that the host is, uncomfortable doing. Let's not do that. Okay, I think it's very, very important to keep that in mind, that I will not bend backwards for you. You got to change if you have to experience my life. Finally, I think, again, that has also been spoken that, I don't think we should overthink scale, whether it's infrastructure or even the scale of an operation. If one village can, do it well, we don't really have to get in a, lot of, extractive kind of projects there. So just to sum it up, I think, I don't think we should promote tourism, but I think what we need to do is restructure how tourism, conservation, and livelihoods, kind of reinforce each other, so that long-term conservation goals as well as social well-being, are the foundations, and not, like I said, they are not just add-ons. I think that's a very, very crucial thing. Yeah. So thank you.
So thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. As we come to the end of this insightful discussion, our panelists have offered a diverse perspective, thoughtful analysis, and practical insights that truly enrich the discussion. If I would like to summarize the whole discussion into one line, then I can say ecotourism offers a pathway for a balanced growth that preserves nature, uplift local communities, and ensures a long-term sustainability. With that, I conclude today's panel discussion. Thank you. Now, we request Shalini Agrawal ma'am to deliver a concluding remarks of the whole discussion.
It's been a very interesting discussion, and I'm so happy that the whole gathering has got lots of knowledge from national and international expertise present here in this panel, and the perspectives which were shared directly came from the ground level experiences. And I think that the one common theme which was common among all the speakers was participation of community, preparing the community before you plan any project, capacity building of community, trust building. And then the other theme which I found in all the panelists was that this community, government, tourism industry operators, and the other catalyst in the form of NGOs or in the form of expertise, all of them should come together, and then these tourist projects should be designed and implemented. Responsible tourism is one thing which I think most of us have come to know about it in today's session in a great detail. And lastly, I think that preparing the community is one aspect of it, but also the tourist awareness is also the second aspect of it. But all the examples are really encouraging and inspiring, and we are so happy to have you here. And I think that, as MOS sir has already told, that when the government of Gujarat is preparing sustainable eco-tourism policy, all of your inputs are definitely gonna be placed in that tourist policy. Thank you so much.
एस्ट्रो टूरिज्म के लिए क्या अपॉर्चुनिटी है पूरे गुजरात में, वो भी एक बार जरा किसी को कोई शेयर कर सके तो।
उसमें आपको निवेदन करना है कि कुछ जो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, there are certain universities in Gujarat, if their faculty can be involved and scientists can be involved, because Ministry of Tourism has a separate funding for the development of the astrotourism. For astrotourism, you require equipments and other expertise. So as a layman, or if I am an administrator, it may not be fair to develop that astrotourism, because when we talk about the astrotourism, the location as well as those equipments are very, very important. Government of India is stressing upon the development of the astrotourism, and it can be fit in the Gujarat also, especially the area, those are I think Saputara or neighboring area can be one of the proper location, or other places also. Even submarine also, underwater also, there is a great scope which is untouched. When we talk about the ecotourism, it is not only on the earth, but down the sea also, that can also be explored. Thank you.
Sir, I have one point to discuss with you. There is a big opportunity for gender inclusive tourism. It is emerging as a new segment, because women friendly tourism is growing very fast. UN tourism is doing very well in association with the UN Women, and UN Women India is working for the same. And we are associating with the UN Women India for the promotion of event-friendly tourism and gender-inclusive tourism in Kerala as part of responsible tourism initiative. This is a niche segment. It is a emerging segment. We can talk about. You can think about it as a new segment in your state. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much to all our esteemed panelists, chairperson and moderator. I think, ma'am, okay, please. Our validatory is, yeah, so you can.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'll just rush through. A lot of points have been made, and my name is Ranjit Singh, and I'm a tourism entrepreneur from Gujarat. We've really been involved with wildlife tourism and with heritage tourism for over 25 years. We're actually two colleagues here who set up lodges in Gir in 2003, so we have got a wide range of experience here. Just a couple of points from our experience of the last few years. The one point that was made on capacity planning, and most forest departments, when they do capacity planning is done from the perspective of how many people should go into the ecosystem. There will be various models of number of vehicles, number of routes, and one key aspect is the number of forest officials that are there available to ensure that that activity is taken care of. Forest Department, pan-India, we remember, had almost, at one point in time, 20,000 deficit staff, which impacted the calculation of capacity planning. So that's one perspective which is important. The other perspective which is important is not so much the capacity planning of how many people go into the park. I think it is important that every site that is being looked at today should have a capacity plan in terms of the tourism facilities that are created for that facility. So if we create a tourism village or a tourism zone, and within which the government can identify 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotels that will come up within that, then the entire footprint in that zone can be better managed. That's a very important aspect. We sort of made these suggestions to look at. The other aspect, which is an incidental of what is being looked at, the entire country's most important resource is fresh water. Fresh water comes mainly from the forest areas. We in our village we get water once in 10 days. Today, the key resource for all of us living in rural areas and in urban areas is fresh water. So fresh water system is a function of tourism, our footprint, and the waste that is generated, that can affect. So I think when we look at an ecotourism policy, we must also look at the freshwater master plan for the state, because that's a key resource which will impact life for everyone. I think that's an extremely important aspect. And waste management has been spoken about, but I cannot tell you how important waste management is in our festivals, in our tourism sites, in our wildlife destinations, in our historical sites, in our religious places. Everywhere where tourism is congregating, we are generating large amounts of waste. Tourists are going away from us. It's not Gujarat specific, it's all over the country, it's all over the world. But we must, as Gujarat, take a serious initiative to address the waste issue. That's, I think, an important aspect in the master plan that should come in. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you to all our esteemed panelists, chairperson and moderator for highly engaging and insightful discussion. Before we wind up the session with a word of thanks, may I request Ms. Shalini Agrawal ma'am to kindly felicitate our Honorable Minister of State, Shri Praveen Kumar Mari sir, as a gesture of gratitude for kindly gracing the occasion, sir. Thank you so much. Your presence is truly motivating and inspiring. Thank you so much. As we come to the close of this enriching session, may I invite Mr. Devang Vega to propose a word of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to deliver this vote of thanks at the conclusion of today's seminar on ecotourism as a new avenue for sustainable growth, organized under the Vibrant Gujarat Regional Conference here at the Aura University. On behalf of Gujarat Rajya Institution for Transformation, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Honorable Cabinet Minister Arjun Bhai Modwaria sir, for gracing this occasion with his valuable presence. Our sincere appreciation to the Honorable Minister of the State, Shri Praveen Kumar Mari sir, for gracing this seminar. Our sincere appreciation to Ms. Aparna ma'am, CEO and the chairperson of the Executive Committee, GRIT, for her continued leadership and guidance, which have been instrumental in convening this important stakeholder dialogue. Her vision continues to strengthen GRIT's ongoing work in advancing Gujarat's holistic developmental agendas. We are thankful to Shalini Agarwal ma'am, MD GUNL, for spearheading the implementation of the Surat Economic Cluster Plan. We also like to thank Ms. Adra Agarwal ma'am, Secretary GAD Planning, for active support in organizing the seminar and driving the initiatives at GRIT. We also gratefully acknowledge the active support extended by our partners, Tourism Corporation of Gujarat Limited and the Forest and Environment Department, whose collaboration has been central to organizing today's deliberations. I extend my gratitude to all the distinguished speakers, panelists, tourism entrepreneurs, forest officials, researchers, environmental organizations, academicians, and industry experts who has enriched today's sessions. Our heartfelt thanks to all the participants and the community members, representatives, and ecotourism practitioners here. As we conclude, let us carry forward the collective resolve expressed here today to build a sustainable and inclusive ecotourism ecosystem for Gujarat, one that preserves our forests, empowers our communities, celebrates our natural heritage, and advances the vision of Viksit Gujarat 2047. Thank you all once again for your time, insight, and valuable presence. Thank you.